Okay. What I'm going to start off this time is there's a lot of people who think that the primal diet is a stagnant diet. And after they've been a stagnant diet, and when people have been on it for a few years, they stop having as good reactions. Why? Because they're not adjusting. If you read my book once a year, you're going to see that when you have changes in your body, those are the foods you need to adapt to. The diet that I will prescribe to you when you come to me is for your normal course. If you start having detoxifying symptoms, you go to the book. Those are the foods you eat during those times. You either add those foods to the diet that I've given to you and eliminate something on the diet that I've given you, or you eat completely, if I've addressed a complete diet in the books to have for those kind of detoxifications, you follow that. Also something I've come to learn, I'm always learning, because, I can't know everything. Maybe if I've lived a dozen lifetimes as a human, I might. Well, I've learned that after you've been on the diet a few years, my normal high celery diet is not correct. I have a high celery juice because it extracts sugars out of the body, all the toxic sugars that you've been consuming. Celery is a negative in carbohydrate. It doesn't have enough carbohydrate to digest itself. So celery is a negative. That's why I had it predominant in the diet, in the juice. Once you've been on the diet for a couple of years, you're all of a sudden going to be carbohydrate deficient, some of you. Some of you have been really sugarholics that eat tons of sugar. It may take 6 or 7 years for you to get to that point. So you need to add carrot to the juice so you'll have more carbs to give you a little bit more energy. If after a juice you don't feel good, you feel tired, it's time to adjust. Add carrot, anywhere from 20 to 40%. If you're a heavily jaundiced person, you have a lot of yellow to your skin, that means you have a lot of bile in the system. You're already going to be sugar deficient. Add the carrot juice right away. Yes, you'll turn more orange, but it won't be from the carotene. It'll be from the bile. You're yellow from the bile as it is. Asians have a lot of bile passing through their system because they eat 80% rice. They don't get enough fat. So the body starts sending bile all the way through the system to digest all of the fat that is produced, the acetones that are produced by transforming carbohydrates into acetone, which is a fat. It's not a very stable fat, and it doesn't burn very well in the mind, in the brain and nervous system, but in the fuel of the body and the muscles, it's fine. It's good for the lackeys, and that's the way the Egyptians and the Chinese did it to keep slaves. They kept them only eating 10%, 5 to 10% meat, 80% rice, and then 10 to 15% vegetables. That kept their bodies functioning high, but their brains functioning low. So they were good lackeys. They were good slaves. They could work hard labor without disrupting the feudal systems. So on this system, it's like 35 to 40% meat. You've got about 25 to 30% dairy in the diet. And then you have your juices, which are about 20% of the diet in most people's diets. And that's the way that works. In the tribes in Africa, it averages from, dairy averages from 50 to 90% of their diet, raw dairy. In the Fulani tribe, it's 90 to 92% dairy, and all of it's fresh. They just don't eat fermented dairy for some reason. And they cook meat once or twice a month, and they cook it in the underground ovens, and they use rocks that they've heated in a fire, and then they put it in deeply in the ground, about 5 feet in the ground, sometimes only 4.5 feet, and they have these big elephant leaves, so they wrap the butchered animal in the leaves and then put the rocks on the perimeter so it doesn't get direct heat, and probably the hottest it gets in there is about 200 degrees. And they'll cook it for 7 to 8 hours that way with just the rocks. And of course they cover the whole thing to keep the heat trapped in it. That tribe is fatter, heavier, stockier than any of the other tribes. Plus they have patches, of skin, but they were up until the British fellow who came in there and brought them agriculture and screwed up their economy and changed the whole dynamics of the tribe. He admitted it. He did a film over a 35-year period with them, and this was released about 6 years ago, and it was on Discovery Channel. And look up the Fulani tribe, and you can probably find that film. And he admits that he ruined the tribe, completely ruined it, because now they fight. Before, when they used to have little quarrels, the children would mock them in a ceremony in the evening, so everybody would laugh about the silly antics of the argument. Now they get in fights, they're killing each other, they're fighting, it's causing all this trouble. And this British man regrets every minute of the time that he taught them to be civilized and brought machines and agriculture to them to put their moron grains and all the garbage that they didn't normally eat. Now they're eating lots of fruit, which they didn't eat much of, and so they get more emotional and many more problems. That's the Fulani tribe. The Maasai tribe was 60 to 70% dairy, about 35% meat, and a little bit of vegetables. It was against the law in the Maasai tribe to eat fruit because they're the tallest, skinniest tribe in the world. Yet they're the fiercest, strongest, and best fighters in the world. The tallest guy is like 9 foot something. I've met several of them. I hired one when I worked at Antilles. He was 7. Antilles Health Food Store. In the late 70s. He walked through the door. He couldn't walk through the door. He went under the door to come in. He was 7 foot 6 inches. My God. So we had all these plants hanging from the ceilings between the rows of food, and we used to have one of the workers there, one of the employees, climb up on a ladder, take them down, take them back to the sink in the back, and water them once a week. So I hired him to take them down by hand, and it was very easy. It became a 1-hour job instead of an all-day job. So it was very convenient. Great guy. He played the creature, the alien, in that Arnold Schwarzenegger picture. Was that
a creature?
I mean, Predator?
The Predator. He played the Predator in that. Of course, you couldn't see him.
Where was Antilles?
Antilles, that was in Beverly Hills and Los Feliz. So they are now ruined. There's a drought over there for 6 years now, so the Maasai tribe, their wealth was based on cows, how much milk they could produce and how much meat they could produce to feed all the Maasai tribe. The 6-year drought now has destroyed 80% of their herds. So they're now accepting care packages. And you know what care packages are?
Kellogg's Rice Krispies.
It's Kellogg's reject stuff from their factories that they can sell to these goodwill people, for very little money, and then dehydrated, evaporated milk, which causes the most diseases to all the animals that Pottinger did the tests with. Worst thing you can eat is dehydrated powdered milk. And so these tribes are now no longer pure. And the Fulani, Maasai, and the Samburu are still okay. They're about 70% dairy and about 30% meat. It varies around there. Now these tribes are in great shape, no problems, no disease, as long as they stay on their ancestral raw plan. It's estimated somewhere up to 145 years.
No.
No. The only other tribe that's been documented living that long is in Georgia, Russia, where they ate fecal matter as well as mainly raw dairy. And that was documented, I think it came out in February 1971 issue of National Geographic. But guess who does not get that information anymore? They don't want you to have that information.
Yeah.
Anything that's good information, they don't want you to have. If it goes against the industrial food complex, industrial medical complex, against the war machine, you will not get that information except in little bits. So the average person has no idea and just believes what they get on television. And that's all manufactured news. That's what they gave to you and your baby on. Evaporated milk, yeah.
Didn't you get breast milk, Abraham?
Yeah. My mother dried up after 10 days. I was so ugly. Okay, now a lot of people ask me about global warming. Now, I'm not an expert in this field, although I did spend 6 years studying astronomy and the science of physics. And I go along with Einstein and that psychic named Casey, that every time the northern axis of the Earth points to the star Polaris, we have a pole shift. It takes us 26,840 years to make that cycle, this optical movement around that belt of stars. And every time it points to every time our North Star becomes Polaris, we have a pole shift. According to Edgar Casey and the theories that I have and Einstein have, it will shift about 15 degrees. Northern to mid-Germany will be the North Pole. That means all of Europe will be on the North Pole and gone. Global warming is not really industry causing the problem. It's causing our pollution problem, and it's raising the temperature maybe 2 degrees. But according to my science, whenever we point to Polaris, the sun has more solar activity. So we're having more solar showers than ever before, except in 1947, in March 1947. We had the biggest solar storms.
Rain?
No, the solar storms are, big fireballs, radiation belts flying out from the sun, and they may go, about 60 to 100 miles out from the sun. Well, we're 90 to 93 million miles away from the sun. So still that radiation gets more intense. That's what causes the solar, global warming. And it happens every 26,840 years. The poles melt, causes a polar shift. So according to, let me get my globe out. I made a globe with the new poles and the follow Edgar Casey's My Science and Einstein's Science. No, more carrot. This is this right now is the equator. This was the North Pole before. This is the North Pole now in central Germany. That's the way it will be in the year 2012, between 2012 and 2014. All the poles are supposed to melt by 2012. That's why the Mayan calendar ends in 2012. That's our 26,840-year cycle ends at that point. So we're going to have floods all over the planet. That's why we're having all these, big, huge tsunamis, storms, hurricanes. All of that's changing because of the sun activity during this period. This will be the new equator. This is the new North Pole, new South Pole. So the United States, if it remains, is going to be near the equator.
Well, Los Angeles.
This is Mexico right here. This is Los Angeles. This is Canada. Even Canada will be in the semi-tropical area if it withstands. But you've got so many belts right here that this table is on a float. If the water level brings it up, you're going to lose everything from Colorado mountains all the way out to California. It'll all just shift out into the water.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Pardon?
Did you say 2012?
2012. Between 2012 and 2014. And you see even Alaska will be up in a nicer area. So that's a good region.
Go to Alaska.
Pardon?
So buy land in Alaska and Colorado?
Yeah, you'll be safer. Yeah, in those areas. Yeah, Colorado mountains. Yeah, so the Colorado mountains are a safe area.
So Los Angeles we're gonna be synced into the ocean.
Probably. Yes.
So
Yes.
we should get out of here very soon.
Well, that's when we finish. That's when the northern axis points exactly at Polaris.
When that finishes, the 26,800 years.
26,840 years. That's how long it takes the Earth to make that.
Documented when it happened 26,840 years ago.
That's when the Bible says that the floods have happened. But it wasn't 10,000 or 8,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago.
Everybody should leave.
It's 26. No, it's right on schedule. 26,840 years. It's timed like a clock.
Years that you were saying 10 or 12, 2012, 2010.
Well, the Earth has already started overwarming.
Yes.
We've already got 2 miles of glaciers melted already, and this is 2008. And 2012 is when it finishes. So it's probably going to be all melted by then, and the shift will happen radically. Yeah. Pardon? California's supposed to be gone.
So you're gonna pick up. Where are you gonna go?
I'm already planning on moving.
Where are we going?
Well, you can see southern Africa will, instead of the equator being up here, the equator be down here. So the southern part of Africa will be a good area. The South America, it's the only place that it will stay the same at the equator. It'll be the same equator as Ecuador. But Rio de Janeiro is going to be on the equator. So anywhere around here, if you like the tropics, remember where it's warmer, you always heal faster, get healthier. You don't have to eat as much meat also. Where I'm planning to go is anywhere from Vietnam all the way up to Burma, which is Myanmar now. And this is where I want to go, and that's, it's almost the same. Bali is here, so the equator in Asia is almost at the same place. And this is where I want to go because there's more poverty there, like in Africa. But Africa's still a little too violent for me. Oh no, it'll probably happen within a few months. Yeah. It is going gradually now because when I timed it for August last year, at this time, that sun was slightly about 2 degrees over this way. And it should set in the same place at the same day every year. So it's settling a little bit further north all the time. And since I've been here for almost 10 years, It's changed. It started over here 10 years ago. When I stand at that pole right there, I've got a mark on the pavement. When I look at that one tree right there where it marked, because I've been observing this since 1976, since I figured out, before I read Einstein's stuff, I figured that out on my own. And so I marked it when I moved here. Wherever I go, I mark it to see if it's changing. In the last 10 years, it's moved a whole 4.5 degrees north. So it probably, the last 10 degrees of it will move pretty fast. Within 6 months, something like that. But I haven't lived it before. I'm just going off of science. Yes?
So you're saying, like, so the poles are changing, is that going to be the sun's activity that's actually changing its rotation on its axis?
Well, what happens when the poles melt? You only have the magnetic field to decide how the Earth leans. Right now, the weight of the Arctic, the glaciers, because you've got, 5 miles deep glaciers, and it's melted 2 miles already, so it's still got 3 miles to go.
So you're saying it's the weight?
Once that is all down and the Earth is even with its water table, and it doesn't have that weight on the poles, which keeps it spiraling or rotating on that same axis, then the pole will shift. The magnetic pole is 15 degrees different from than our north and south poles. Right now, with the pole being here, and in Canada, the magnetic pole is about right here. But when it melts and shifts, it's going to swing way over to Germany.
Magnetic pole?
The magnetic pole will shift to Germany. And it's been shifting gradually over the years from Canada and going around. Then we'll make a fast shift, and that'll cause the poles to become here. Then when this freezes up, your magnetic pole always shifting, slightly shifting and shifting and shifting. So it'll end up somewhere else. So 26,840 years, it'll do the same shift. It'll melt and shift again, wherever the magnetic pole is.
And it's every 26,840 years that the sun's activity gets really intense?
Right. Well, it gets intense at different times, but it doesn't stay that intense for as long as it does when we start to point toward Polaris. And Polaris becomes our North Star exactly. That's when it's finished. All the poles are melted, and that's November 21st, 2012.
So it's about getting out of here, like 2009.
Pardon?
Where do you want to have the potluck then?
Well, we can do it in Colorado Mountains. We've got a great group up there.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You're going to be
You can have potlucks in Thailand too?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then some land will get flooded, other land that's under the ocean will come
It's
up.
supposed to come up, yep.
It'll just kind of be a total...
There are psychics, I don't know anything about that. There are psychics saying that Atlantis is going to surface when most of the United States goes under. And also Lemuria, which is in the Pacific, which is the Hawaiian Islands of the mountains, which are the Hawaiian Islands of the mountains of Lemuria. So Atlantis and Lemuria are supposed to come up. But that's all psychic stuff. I know nothing about it.
So let me see if I understand you correctly. You're telling me that all this North Pole, South Pole dynamic that you want to have, all the ice is going to actually form now elsewhere.
Elsewhere, over Germany and, all over Europe. See, I put the North Pole here, where it's supposed to occur. So, you have England here, that's going to be part of the North Pole. It's going to be gone. All the way over into northern Africa.
Okay, so if that's the case, then what you're saying is that
The freezing will take probably 10, 20 years.
you're attributing all this to the shifting of the pole, right?
Correct.
And you're saying that the hole we're seeing in the ozone,
The ozone hole is always there.
is it?
That's always
Wait,
there.
wait, wait. That's not true. Because the hole we're seeing right now wasn't there only 30 years ago.
It was there, but it was very small. It's always there, a small hole.
Okay, but it's gotten
Okay,
much larger.
because the sunspots since 1947, March of 47, have been increasing.
So you're attributing that to that.
Correct, and it gets greater. Of course, you've got also our pollution, which causes it, the making of styrofoam. And the gases that it put off made it bigger, faster.
Why can't one read about this more on the internet or somewhere?
Oh,
Well, to
no,
get
you
to
have
the
to get
phone,
into the
it's
science of it. You have to get
information.
into astronomy. You have to get into ancient Egypt, transcripts. You know, I had people that were connected to all this stuff. So I got a hold of a lot of material in the late 70s and early 80s that other people don't get access to.
But didn't you say that this was Einstein's theory as well? This is what
Einstein said we're going to be in trouble in many areas of the world, of the Earth, because of a polar shift that's supposed to happen when our northern axis points to Polaris. That's why the ancients named the star Polaris. And this was way back before the Greek period, the Egyptian period. They called that star Polaris. The changing of the poles, the polarity change. Mayan calendar ends November 21st, 2012. The day that it finishes that polar change. They say that's when the world ends and everything changes.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that we're going to be shifting at that pole, but then 26,000 and some change later, it's going to be some other pole.
It's going to shift again,
So how do you know
15%.
about Polaris? So that at that time, Polaris would not have been the pole, right? It would have been some other place.
No, it goes that particular, what do they call it? The,
A rotation.
no, it's called precession of the equinox. Not a precession of the,
Precession.
no, there's a certain, with that rotation of the Earth's the whole planet, or whole solar system points to there. At a certain point, and it goes around a loop like this. Every 26,840 years, it hits, of course, every point it hits 26,840 years, different stars. But the one star, when it's called Polaris, is when the poles shift.
That's one of the stops.
That isn't a stop, that's one of its movements.
But Peru is staying in the same place, the Mayan calendar.
No, the Ecuador. Ecuador is the only one staying in the same place.
But that's so close right there.
Yeah.
So, why would that be the end of their universe?
Because
they're
all
where
of
they
all
are.
of Mexico and Central America is supposed to go under.
Oh, okay.
That's
So the
one that's
Mayans-
going under.
The Mayans are more Mexican.
Yes.
Yeah, that's from, okay.
So Europe, Mexico, Central America is going to go under. It's going to.
That's what
Well, Europe
some
is
people
gonna
say.
go north.
The new South Pole is right around New Zealand.
Ooh.
So New Zealand's going to be, and then
Sure, you'll be okay.
almost a third of our 5% of our, a fifth of Australia will be part of the South Pole.
Where'd you get that? Or did you make it?
I made it. Well, I bought the globe, but I took it apart and made it myself.
Redid that.
And then here on the zero for the equator, I just put a marker there and just spun it around and got my new
Oh, okay.
equator.
So get a little deeper in the
Uh-huh. They've shifted over many times.
26,000 years?
Oh, no. That has happened for millions of years. It shifts every 26,840 years. Some of them have gone down, some of them have come up.
Sure. But if Central America is going to go underwater, obviously that's going to change the map of the world.
Oh, absolutely. The whole map of the world is going to change to some extent.
26,000 years ago, it couldn't have looked like.
No, it didn't look like this.
So,
Right.
I mean, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's
It's always a shift, there's always change. According to some, ancient Egyptian maps and geography, there was a place called Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean. There was a whole continent that fell under. That was the Great Flood. That was the flood of 40 days. Of course, it was 40 years, not 40 days. And because when you have that kind of a melting, it lasts about 40 years. It takes 20 years for the poles to grow to even 2 miles thick. So it takes 40 years to have them grow, 3 to 5 miles thick. So it takes a while for all that water to evaporate and become the poles again, so the water tables go down. Now they're filling up everywhere. The shorelines keeps coming higher and higher everywhere.
So then will California come back out of the water after 40 years?
Not after 40 years, no. You see, it's on a table that's only pivoted on other rocks. So if the water raises, it's got a gas table around the Andreas Fault, so that's going to gas up, and it'll just fall down in deep. And there's no low table there. This is going to slide down into a deep pit. It won't come back up. Unless there's some kind of an eruption that happens but there's no volcano around here to bring it back up.
So that's why you're renting.
That's why I'm renting, yes. Fred, you better sell. Yes.
I got a crazy question. How do you get your retirement money out quickly?
Start collecting now. Claim you're 62 years old and start collecting.
Pay the penalty.
Probably, or you take your retirement money out and invest it in something so you don't have to pay taxes on it.
Move it. 401ks, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can, because that's an investment. You take it out. If you don't reinvest it within 3 months, then you have to pay taxes on it. But you have 3 months to reinvest.
What about all the East Coast, like New York and
New York's supposed to go down. The only few states that are supposed to be left is Virginia, parts of North Carolina, and everything over to the Ohio River is supposed to be damaged under. The states of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois are supposed to survive and mostly intact. Pardon? Mm-hmm. Egypt is a desert, and it's going to be part of the North Pole, but it'll be, all of that area is going to be part of the pole. It'll be like Alaska.
So Hawaii is going to go
Egypt will be like Alaska. Israel will be part of like Alaska.
Where's the new Fertile Crescent then? Where's the new Fertile Crescent where food will be raised?
We will see.
Oh, come on, get that. Go back.
It'll be under.
Anyway, we got to get back into
let's
nutrition.
get into
When do you suggest
I'm going to be out of here by 2010. By November 2010.
You're going to be gone by November 2010?
November 2010.
Do you have a telephone that'll go out?
You can't reach you anymore?
Oh, I'll be reachable as long as there's cell phones around or phones around. There's an internet.
And the internet.
But I mean, we won't be able to have consultation with you.
I'm going to still be flying all around. It's just I'm going to have to start a ranch by then before I can have things growing. I need to have animals growing. I need to have everything set up in a ranch to be developing by then.
Are you hiring?
Yeah, but it'll be the natives that are around there because I'm going to very poor areas to look for land. I'm going where there's no running water, anything like that. I'm going to very primitive areas where I know that nobody has interest in doing anything.
So it's still safe to say that the consequences are going to be pretty much unknown. We don't know what the effects are.
Yeah, no, you won't.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But you can pretty well judge by the tables. Because if you go online on the U.S. Navy and get their geological surveys, and you look at all the tables and the volcanoes and everything around, you can pretty much get an idea with the activity of the shifting of the plates, how they're going to shift.
Really?
Yeah. But, you're looking at about 6 months study. I did 6 years of study in astronomy and geological tables. So I've known this for, since 1976.
You're just not telling us.
Just give us the time to
You have time now. Plenty of time.
So you sure the Colorado mountains are...
Yeah, Colorado
Texas.
mountains will be very safe. They'll be one of the only majorly safe areas.
How about Texas?
There's no volcano, and it's a mile high.
What about Utah?
And yeah, Utah and Texas.
Utah is supposed to have a big shift because when California drops, a lot of Arizona is going to drop behind it.
Does any of these people
And
know of
Texas.
this living out of these
So, you know, according to some geologists who studied this, now they don't put any of this stuff out on the news.
Oh, no.
Why?
You can only find it some places on the internet.
Why don't they
And
want to
then
tell
they shift
everybody?
because they don't want to panic
Well,
everybody.
yeah, ready to be in Colorado.
You know, everybody will be leaving California,
Exactly.
and then the economy in California will go to shit, and they don't want that to happen
At least we can
because
buy
it's the
land.
biggest economy in the world is California.
Oh, gosh.
Well, there's Singapore and Hong Kong. Those are pretty close to LA.
So you mean all
I
these
mean California.
are going to be dead by then in 2 years?
You need to raise your hand so I don't have too many voices talking at one time.
All these
What
people-
about nutrition?
Yes.
I've been watching the tides when we're on the coast, and the last 10 years, I mean, they're not getting any closer to my house. I watch the sun come down on June 21st. It's the same mountain peak. And it goes down to December 21st, the same place out into the ocean. And it hasn't changed.
From that perspective where you are, it may be the same.
Where are you? At the Venice Pier. The end of Washington.
But when I lived in on Playa del Rey, even back then, there was a shift of 8 inches in 2 years.
It doesn't get any closer because I really
It is. It is. If you look at the table,
If you're in Malibu,
Yeah.
the last 25 years we've lost in certain areas 100 feet
100 feet.
on the beach.
Yes.
And Long Island has been sinking.
Oh yes, it's 100 feet.
They know about Long Island. It's been sinking.
Excuse me, it's mainly because the marina that was built there changed
they added sand.
Right. There would have been different, yeah. But there's a loss there. It's something like,
They gained it back because when they built the marina,
yeah,
it shifted the sand.
right.
So some of the
But still, the water table's a little higher, and there's still erosion. And when I read the Santa Monica report about 10 years ago, there was still something like a 23-foot change from 1972 through 1992. But that's not like here. We've got a whole 100 feet. You know, a beach lost here.
Right now, on beach, it's really close to losing the houses.
Yes. People have lost their whole beach front.
All sandbags.
Yeah.
They lost their pools, their lawns.
So how about Iran? What would happen to Iran?
Iran's going to be the North Pole, part of the North Pole.
So I can't go there?
Go there and freeze to death. You're only going to grow something 3 months out of the year.
So everybody's got to run to Colorado then.
Yeah, it's going to be on the edge of the North Pole there.
Or South
What about the oceans? Are there going to be like
Oh, they're going to be very full.
are there going to be like tidal waves or like
Oh, lots.
lots of tidal waves and stuff?
The way Japan is more nebulously stable than California. Another 2 or 3, feet. I mean, 2 or 3, 20 or 30 feet of water around Japan. Japan can go under in a flash blink of an eye. If Japan and all those islands go under at one time, it could create a tidal wave 1,000 feet. Won't quite make it to here, but it'll be damn close. Because this is 1,935 feet right here. Well, if Japan, the way Japan is settled, or not unsettled on that table, it could go just like a blink of an eye. It could be gone in 2 hours.
So the process of the ice freezing again and things stabilize.
That lowers,
more. It's gonna
then
take
stabilizes.
half of that 28,000 years.
26.
No, it takes 40 years.
4 years.
40 years. 40 years.
And then everything will stabilize.
Stabilize again. Except for earthquakes.
For another
And
28,000 years.
28,640 years. 26,840 years.
That number.
26,840 years. So it'll stabilize again. And then the only time you're going to have shifts is when you have volcanoes and earthquakes. But every 26,840 years, you have major table shifts.
So I have a question. This is a prediction question. When do you think it will be common knowledge that this is happening? When do you think people will really get it? Like when you're ready to move, or you don't know?
Not going to happen. The people will never know.
Yeah.
They will not
So
let you know.
See all these things changing.
You're already seeing them. You're seeing the hurricanes. You're seeing the so-called tsunamis. Now, that tsunami that happened in Asia, that was not a tsunami. Tsunamis, you have an earthquake underneath. It creates waves, big waves. If you saw, the only picture you saw of any waves was in Phuket Island in Thailand. I was there 12 days before it happened. The wave, they showed one rock wall. There's only one rock wall on all of Phuket. So when you got a wave coming up, that's the only place where you'll see a wave hit. That's the only place that they showed. But if you take all of the accounts, the water rose and came in and down. Rose and came in and down. Only thing that could have caused that is an underground nuclear explosion. There were 2 British nuclear submarines and 3 American submarines in those waters at that time in Indonesia. And it was a threat to the U.S., threat from the U.S. and British governments to China and India about their nuclear war. We're way advanced ahead of them. We can damage them without even declaring war. The reason I believe that was because I was on the internet at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I started seeing these reports coming out because I still take a look at the tables and I go to the Navy sites, and all of a sudden I saw this site of this island in the midst of the Indian Ocean that is owned by the U.S. government. It's a U.S. government territory. It's a military base, naval military base. Pardon?
Diego Garcia, the island is...
No, it was another, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, there was a whole website. They said everybody needs to evacuate the island because there's going to be a flood at a certain hour. This was 5 hours before the tsunami was supposed to hit. All of a sudden I went back, after the tsunami hit, I went back to copy that website. It had disappeared.
Oh, it disappeared?
It disappeared.
Figures.
Yep.
Yep, covering their tracks.
Yep.
Yep.
So that was not a tsunami. That was more bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay?
That was a created...
That was a created mishap.
Yeah.
And what they were doing is because India was starting to make nuclear weapons and starting to make some threats. China was starting to get, because it's the highest economic power there is now, besides the United States and Britain, it was a threat. Keep them in line, in tow. Show who's got the balls on the planet. U.S. and British. So the big tyrants of the world are the British government and the American government. The people who run those governments, I should say. Okay, let's get back to nutrition.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I just want to keep you politically and geographically in tune with whatever else is going on, too.
It was great. Thanks, Aajonus.
Okay?
Appreciate
All right. I spend too much time studying. I don't have any fun anymore unless I go to Thailand a month and a half a year. But I'm going to stop that in 2 years. Okay?
Study? We're going to Thailand.
Doing all that studying.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start
let's
farming.
get back to
I'm going to
nutrition.
start getting back into life. Right now I'm all up in my head. Okay. I guess all my wave was gone. No way. No way.
It went away.
Okay, we're going to start with Q&A. So we'll start back there with Marietta Van Hef. Do you have a question?
I didn't raise it, but I always have questions.
Well, ask a question.
Yeah, if you can talk about kidney, what's good for kidney problem, somebody who has kidney pains.
Well, it depends. If it's, thank you. If it's if the kidney problems are from kidney stones, that means collection of heavy metals in the kidney. And what happens is they are the minerals that cause that kind of magnetic polarity to cause little. Usually it starts off with little crystals, and they'll sometimes make little rice-shaped objects, and then as they attract together, they'll build into a larger stone. What causes this is when you eat cooked food, you fractionate all of the ionic bonds. So all the electrolytes and everything are disturbed. When you normally eat raw food, you have conglomerate of nutrients after everything passes through the intestinal tract, and it's absorbed into the lymphatic system, into the lacteal system that leads to the lymphatic system. It breaks the nutrients down categorizes them into smorgasbords. So you have 93 to 117 nutrients in one group, and it's microscopic. And when a cell opens up, it gets a whole smorgasbord of nutrients. If you cook your foods, you fractionate that. If you eat salt, you fractionate that. So each cell, when it eats, it may be getting 20, 32 nutrients, maximum 50 nutrients. Every cell is getting deficiencies. Every cell in your body is full of deficiencies. No wonder we only live half the age that other creatures live. Other creatures live 7 times the time it takes them to finish maturation. We should be living to 147 years old. If we finish maturation at 21 years old. 147 years old, we're averaging 70 years. That's half of what we're supposed to live. Why is that? Because every cell is getting deficient every time you eat cooked foods. Every time you eat salt, even if you're eating raw food, you eat salt, it causes a fractionation of those smorgasbord of nutrients. It breaks them up. So, in that process of cooking, where you have fractionated all of those bonds, you have a lot of free radicals that are created. Free radicals are minerals that can be toxic when they're isolated and on their own. Mercury, thallium, lead, zinc, any of those metallic minerals become free radical, do damage minerals. When they're in bonds, in ionic and electrolyte bonds, it's all a uniform package that makes beneficial changes in the system, energy, structure, everything. When they're separated in free radical, they do damage. So if they collect in the intestines, you'll form crystals in the intestines. That usually gets washed to the kidneys. When they collect in the kidneys, you'll have stones. To keep from creating stones, vinegar is your best bet. Raw unpasteurized apple cider vinegar. It helps break those up and dissolve them. Now, Lewis here came to me with a bladder stone, or kidney stone, bladder stone problem. And when he had, was an ultrasound done, it showed lots of little particles, mineral crystals, all around the one stone. So I gave him a flush of about half a cup of vinegar, half a cup of honey, and a couple of cups of water, sparkling mineral water, and about a half a cup of coconut cream mixed together. Now what it did was flushed off all those little crystals that were all around, which were going to make that stone twice as big. So when he had the sonogram done, those were all gone. But when the magnetic force gets into a hard, large crystal or a stone, it's like a magnet. You can't pull it apart with anything natural. So you've got to go in and laser blast it or sonogram blast it out of the system.
Then he went on to treat the stone.
The stone cannot. That's what I was saying. the stone is so magnetically forced together that there's no nutrient that I found, or combination of nutrients, that can break it down.
So you recommend the laser?
Yeah, the laser to blast it to pieces. Now, I started growing a stone when I was 3 years old. And it grew until I was 59 years old. It was the biggest stone they'd ever seen. It was this long and this big around. Nobody had ever seen a stone that big. The urologist that I went to said, oh, it's going to take normally it takes 5 to 10 minutes to break a stone down. That's the biggest I've ever seen. It's going to probably take me 45 minutes. Took him an hour and 45 minutes to blast that stone to pieces, because when he got to the core of it, guess what it was? It was mercury from all of the vaccines and tetanus shots that I had collected, and they hardened into a whole magnetic core, and he couldn't break it up. He just kept blasting and blasting and blasting. A laser. They have a laser beam. I mean, if he misses, it cuts right through the bladder. So he's got to be very careful. So the nurses said he was dripping wet dealing with that, that stone that I had. Because that's 5 times larger than any stone they've ever seen. But it caused me problems from the day that I can remember. I thought that I just had a, deformed urethra that was very small. Because from the time I can remember, it took me 2.5 to 3 minutes to start peeing, and then a good 2 minutes to finish peeing. My mother used to slap me on the shoulder and back and say, hurry up. Nobody else takes this long to pee. But I had a stone in there at that age. So it had gone all the way up to 59 years old, and then I started having trouble peeing unless I acted like a dog. So I lifted my leg like this, the stone would shift over so I could pee. But it was, going into a toilet somewhere where I had to lift my leg. Here I had to come out here and lift my leg. So I copied with the coyotes. I was becoming a dog.
Oh my God.
And then one weekend, it just, I went probably 6 months like that, trying the vinegar to break it down. Didn't happen. So then it became very painful. And at the head of the penis and the urethra, whereas all the pain was, yet the stone was up in the bladder, but all the pain was down here. So I went on, it started on a Friday night. I didn't get to the urologist until Monday morning, and let me tell you, I had a Monday morning because I was in pain. I mean, I kept the pain down with my pain formulas and all that, but, if I didn't keep on the pain formula every 5 hours, I was in excruciating pain. So I went to the urologist, he did the tests, he did the ultrasound on there, and saw this big, huge stone. And I have pictures of it because they put a scope up when they went to blast it. And it's this gnarly, lumpy-looking huge mass.
You have to use
And,
a doctor.
pardon?
Sometimes you have to use a doctor.
Yeah, so he went up there and he blasted it to pieces. And, I've been peeing like a horse ever since. I can pee in seconds and finish in a half a minute. Great, or less, When I've spent my whole life taking 3 to 5 minutes to pee.
You got one more question?
Okay, that takes care of the kidney issue.
That's good.
There are other things about the kidney, but I can't tell you everything about the kidney. Lucky, do you have a question?
Tell us about why you don't like drinking water.
Okay, water is a solvent. When it rains, it dissolves rock in the ground, plants eat. When we drink water, it starts fractionating everything. Not as bad as salt and not as bad as cooking, but it starts breaking down the bacteria in the intestines. It dehydrates it. It dries it out. It thins the mucus. It dries the mucus. So the little intestinal tract stops working well. So you become more dehydrated because the water, naturally H2O, when it's utilized by a cell, is ionically bound. Drinking water, there's no ion activity. These, people like Gatorade said, we're full of electrolytes. We've got everything bound. It can be absorbed. With what? When you have 93 to 117 nutrients with H2O coupled with it in a proper balance, absorbing, that's the perfect balance. Drinking water with synthesized electrolytes is not a healthy process. You're just going to fill a cell with water that it can't use properly.
This stuff too, even these minerals?
Even that.
Okay.
That's why I say you need to keep everybody, because they've been eating cooked foods all their lives, needs anywhere from a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of water a day in little sips. I don't anymore. I can get away with a half a cup a month. And that's about all the water I drink. But I keep it down. I used to keep it down to 3/4 of cup a day, and that's what I needed. Well, milk is 82% water. Meat is 55% water. But it's all electrolyte and ionically bound. You can absorb and utilize every bit of it without causing a problem. The green juice is 92% water. Perfect. And it's got lots of ions in it. It doesn't have the protein in it. It has some fat. It doesn't have the protein in it. So if you get heart palpitations after drinking your first juice, you put an egg in that first juice in the day. But mostly you can need it, the vegetable juice, without the egg in it to help move things that weren't moving because of all the cooked foods that you've eaten. And it supplies your body with lots of enzymes to get ready for digestion. This is on the same subject? Okay.
What if you doing extreme sports, like you've done for like hours or running long distances,
Okay.
and then you're like really
Again, you want nutrients. I've got a. Do you remember those who were part of the raw milk issue in 2000, 1999, 2000, 1998, all the way through 2001 that were with me?
Yes.
There was a little 8-year-old boy named Walker that he was 8 years old. He had asthma. So he was a very sickly, weak little child. And he got up there and he said, I have to have my raw milk. It's the only thing that makes me feel good. He is now the number 2 high school tennis champion, the whole United States. All of the high schools in all of the United States, he's number 2. No. He just drinks a little water, but in the formula, in the sport formula, what you do is you take about a cup to a cup and a half of tomato, a cup and a half to 2 cups of cucumber puree. So you're pureeing the tomato and your cucumber, and you're pureeing the cucumber. You peel the cucumber. Always peel the cucumber. That's cellulose you can't digest and will interfere with digestion. And most of the time, it's got some kind of petroleum wax on it, even if they're organic. If you've grown them yourself, take the peel and juice them with your juice. And don't throw them away that way. But otherwise, peel them, get rid of the peels. You chop up that, blend it all together with 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut cream, 3 to 4 tablespoons of dairy cream, 1 egg, tablespoon of vinegar, tablespoon of lemon juice, and 4 tablespoons of honey. I have tennis players that play 5 hours on that 1 quart of fluid, and their competitors are drinking 3 to 4 quarts, a whole gallon of water in that 5 hours.
So when you're sweating like profusely for hours and hours, and you're obviously feeling, I feel really dehydrated, and that happens, all I need to do is drink like one of those?
Right, and I have them put if I've left that out, I have them add a cup of water to that mixture. If you're doing a high sport, you add a cup of water to that, because you will need a little bit of water in there.
Could you repeat real quick the coconut cream and the dairy? Did you say?
We really don't have time.
All right.
Getting so far behind. Pardon? No. It's different the way I have it in there, and I've refined it. You know, I've refined it to this point. Pardon?
So I'd really like to know, can we ask you afterwards?
Okay, then let me give it to you one more time. Okay? So you have 1 to 1.5 cups of tomato puree. Leave the skins on the tomato. You have 1.5 to 2 cups of cucumber. Peel those cucumbers. 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut cream. 3 to 4 tablespoons of dairy cream. 1 tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. He's begging.
For what, meat?
Yeah, I give them meat,
That's
cheese,
a crow.
anything. It's a raven. I've got 4 ravens that are this big. Their wingspan are 8 feet.
I can't see them. Where are they?
Right up here. One of them's right up here.
Wow. I can't see it.
Yeah, he's right over there. Yeah, he'll come down later. This is usually the time I feed them. So. They'll come up and sit right on my balcony up here and beg me right through the door.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So close.
And the coyotes will come right up here and then they yelp and beg for it here.
Oh my God!
And then about a cup of water and 3 to 4 tablespoons of honey. Now, some athletes have problems with that much honey, so you can cut it down to just 2 tablespoons.
Did you put an egg in there?
Yes, and you put an egg in there. If you're a sports person, you put an egg in. If you're not a sports person, you don't put an egg in
Is
it.
this sufficient for an hour, 2 hours?
That can take you through 5 hours of hard activity. Tennis, anything. Yep. I've got a martial art teacher, a Sufi master, and on the diet, he hasn't consumed water in a year. No water. He won't drink a lick of water. And he does 10 hours of martial arts a day.
How much apple cider vinegar can you take in a system each day?
I would keep it down to a tablespoon. If you're an athlete, heavy exercise 2.
Take it in the green drink, and then you take it in this, and you end up 3.
No, 2. 2 maximum.
2 maximum?
2 tablespoons maximum if you're an athlete. If you're not an athlete, 1 tablespoon maximum. If you're on your feet doing hair all day, 2 tablespoons you get away with. Okay. If you're a sedentary worker and you don't do much, 1 tablespoon a day, maybe only 1.5 teaspoons a day, which is 1/2 of the tablespoon. Vinegar can be very altering in your system. Another thing that I discovered about vinegar in the last 3 months was when I was 15 and a half, I don't quite remember, my mother took me to one of her friends who was a doctor. My mom was a nurse. And I had 15 moles on my body. And one of them was in my scalp right here. And every time I ran through a comb through it, it ripped it open. So I bled every day. So she was so afraid that was going to turn into cancer. And I was so sickly already all the time, diabetic by then, had angina pectoris by then, that she took me into...
Wait. I'm not going to stay anymore. Okay.
You want to... Yeah.
All right, well. No,
it's a couple more hours. If not, we're going to have to let her move out. So we're going to have to make space for her.
Oh.
Or somebody can carry her out.
Yeah.
I'll carry you out so you don't have to walk out. So we have to move all the chairs if you want to leave.
A little bit more. I want to see a few more minutes. I have to see.
15, 20 more minutes, okay? Let her stay 15, 20 more minutes.
What? 15, 20 more minutes.
Okay? Okay. I've got hours to go here. So what I found was that when I put vinegar twice a day on that mold, it was growing back. And that one had roots on it. And I had another one here that has... Thank you, sweetheart. I love you too. So that mold had roots, so when I would touch either of these 2, I could feel it deep into my body, at least an inch in. This one was very sore. So I started putting vinegar on it morning and night. Every day a layer peeled off. And I'm saying, how can it peel off for a whole month? You know, I didn't do it every day, but I was peeling off a layer that could have been real deep. And I noticed that there was no root anymore. So the root was moving out every time I put it on and peel off a layer. So this mold right here, which was black and 3 times the size, 3 times that size just 3 months ago, and deep, is no longer deep. It's just brown now, and it's smaller, and no root. The same thing happened to this huge one here.
Just a couple drops?
Just a drop on the end of your finger and rubbed on.
For a wart, too.
For a wart, yeah. Now, warts it doesn't remove as easily. It'll shrink it, but not get rid of it.
What do you suggest for that?
Same thing. Yeah, you're not going to get rid of a wart all the way. They have to somehow drop off on their own eventually. Mine all dropped off on their own. Sometimes I'd put potato peels on it. But that remedy's in the book.
Do you have to eat raw to do that?
I don't know. I always eat raw, so yeah. I have a few people doing it. It's working. Some of them are eating 50% the diet, others up to 100%. So, and it's working for all of them. Of course, the ones that are eating raw, it works faster. And those who are having a little bit of vinegar with their vegetable juice, like 1.5 teaspoons in their first vegetable juice, or with their first vegetable juice, it seems to be working a little bit better. Okay. Did you have a question?
I close catchy.
Fiber.
Catchy for you.
And why are the muscles so tense and hard?
What you have is you have chemical compositions that have collected in the muscles and in the joints. Uric acid, lactic acid, crystals, mineral crystals, and they collect in the body and they cause cutting. They slice the veins, the nerves, the muscles, everything, all the tissue that's in there. They actually cut, cause soreness and bruising, internal bleeding. Very microscopic level, but it happens all over. Vinegar is very helpful to dissolve those compounds. Whey helps remove it also.
Drinking it?
Yeah, goat whey, milk whey, cow's milk whey, any of it.
But not when they process it, they make this.
No, it's got to be the raw stuff. Okay, and that causes soreness all over. I had fibromyalgia from the age of 2.5 all the way up till about 7 years on a raw diet. When I started eating a lot of raw milk and eggs and meat, most of my fibromyalgia, I would say 80% of it went into remission. I mean, still for me to get up out of bed as a child, to get up out of my desk at school, it was a major effort because I was just sore and stiff all over. I was like an old man as a boy. Now I'm like a boy as an old man. I like that. So, but it was work. Do you have a question?
Yes. It's still my dog thing.
Okay.
So why would it be that I was saying earlier, I'm asking a question for my dog. My dog has black sludge diarrhea when he's on a full meat diet, and so that's just from
see, in a dog and a cat, normally in the wild, that's all a dog eats. They're scavengers to an extent. They'll eat fruit. They'll pick up fruit if they find it. They'll eat vegetables once in a while, but only when they're starving and they can't find anything else. But they are mainly meat eaters, dogs and cats. So when they get a high protein level, especially when it's raw, domesticated dogs, they start eliminating the aluminum, formaldehyde, and mercury that they get in injections. And when a dog and a cat get injection, they don't get it for their size. They get the full dose if it's a small dog or big dog, unless you've got a conscious veterinarian. But let me tell you, no vet is a conscious veterinarian as far as I'm concerned, because they're trained by the pharmaceutical industry.
I brought him as a puppy, and they gave him his first shots, which they do by law, and then I never took him for any more.
That's already 8 shots. Puppies get 8 shots by the 10th week.
So is it never going to go down, or will it?
Oh, it usually takes by their 9th year, it's all gone.
9th year?
Yeah, but usually between the 7th and 9th year of the dog's life.
Year and a half now.
Yeah, well, he may dump all of it early. If he's dumping it all now, how wonderful. See, most dogs and cats will go into paralysis between their 7th and 9th year. whole back end goes into paralysis. Usually everything falls. I have many people call me and say, my dog or my cat is completely paralyzed. They're dragging their back end. They won't eat. They won't do anything. And I said, you just have to see this through. Sometimes if you have to squirt some milk down, fine. Get cheese down and mash it up with some yogurt. Get the cheese down. Absorb that stuff so we can get it out quicker. And it usually takes 5 to 6 months for that cycle. Then they're back to normal. And you wonder, how could they be crippled? Let me give you an example. A man came, I went to see a friend of mine who had been my publicity agent at MGM when I was an actor and doing that medical center TV show. And with Chad Everett and James Daly. And he had 5 dogs. And he had a pug that I know, and I go out off to live off of a bicycle and I travel all around, and I came back. This was in the early to mid-'80s. And he had a pug that I knew ever since he got it. So this pug was 14 and a half years old. Cataracts, completely blind, deaf, couldn't bark, paralyzed, couldn't wobble more than a few feet and collapse, couldn't even go to the toilet on its own. Dory would take him outside and rub him so he could even pee. So I put him on a raw diet. In 6 months, the dog could see halfway, half the cataracts were gone, jumping on and off the couch, going out the doggy door on his own, never had any more paralysis symptoms. That's how quickly a dog will react. We've been on cooked foods for 10,000 years. Unless you're African American, they've only been on it for 400 years.
That's why they're such athletes.
That's why they're much better than most whiteys.
They react quicker.
Overall. Yeah. Proportionately, the intensity of African Americans are much more athletic than, Caucasians. Because they've been raw longer. And some of them can even suffer through a cooked diet better than we can. But some of them are even worse at a cooked diet. You see how obese they can get. Just to preserve their bodies, though, you collect tremendous amounts of fat, and the molecules get 50 times their normal size, the fat molecules. So everything is proportionally huge in a lot of African Americans. They're trying to adjust to this processed diet. So anyway, the dog, cheese, lots of cheese to help absorb these toxins.
Cheese okay for cat too?
Absolutely. Yep.
Would a dog need cheese with butter too?
No. Dog doesn't need. If they're having diarrhea, they don't need butter.
That's why they wouldn't. Yeah,
no.
That's why.
They need the cheese to absorb the garbage. Yeah. Do you have a question?
Not the fingernails. I'm not asking about brittle fingernails with like the ridges, but nails that are like peeling away in layers. Is it any different from what
it's a collagen deficiency. Collagen. On this diet, we don't eat much fruit because it's sweet. Watermelon is one of the higher fruits in collagen. So you eat the rind, it's most concentrated in the rind. 1 inch up. I cut away all the ripe stuff that's high sweet and toss it. And I give it to the ravens, and that's what they've been getting every day at this time. So you can hear them squawking, sugared out and crazy. And once I give it to them, they're really nuts. They go flying all around. They really get like monkeys on high fruit. They get very, hyperactive. I don't want to get that way, so I eat the rind and a little bit of the pink. And that's what I eat of the melon. But the way I've compensated that is cucumber has a lot of collagen precursors. So you eat cucumber. Now, like I say, in vegetable juices, predominantly you should have about 30 to 40% cucumber in your juice, but it's cucumber puree. You peel the cucumber and you blend it with the juices that you're making, and you blend it all together and then drink it. So you chew your juice. That way you get the collagen that you need. As long as you're eating the raw fats like butter, your nails won't peel back as long as you're getting collagen. And it takes about 2 months to correct it.
Is squash a substitute?
No. No. Squash doesn't have the same ability. Squash will not do it. Cucumber's best. Fred, do you have a question?
The number 1 and number 2 most important foods or dairy products in our diet. The number 1, I think, is butter. And what's number 2?
I would say meat. For healing.
How much? I just mean it. Well, we're all healing, so.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to heal well. You can regenerate cells that are already alive with eggs and milk, but you cannot cause rapid cellular division like a child does unless you're eating raw meats. That's the only way I found in my tests with 2,300 people. The only way I got growth hormones to reappear in adults was with raw meat. Even if the raw milk is fresh and warm, it only increases at maybe 10%. 10% is good, but then who has a cow who's sucking the milk out of a cow right away? You know, as soon as you refrigerate it, it's lost.
What, the fat?
No, the growth hormone potential. Okay.
What if you take it out and let it sit outside for a while?
That's why if you leave it out, it'll still cool. See, a cow's body temperature is 101 to 105 degrees. So when it cools down to, let's say, room temperatures 78 degrees, it's still lower in proportion, but still higher than if you refrigerate. So when I get milk fresh from a cow, I never refrigerate it.
So once you refrigerate it, you pretty much have killed its potential for
growth hormones. To increase growth hormones to rapid. It still will encourage the normal healing growth rate. But that's still slow compared to a child, where it's very rapid.
So the bison, would there be a maximum on the bison? Marrow?
How much you're eating?
No, you can eat as much as you like until you can't eat anymore. Because usually if I eat 3 bone marrows a day, let's say they're 1.5 inches thick, I can't even eat two a day. If I go a long period, like I'm an Asian, don't get a lot of milk, I can eat 6 a day for 2 days, and then I can only eat 2 to 3 a day again.
Amongst other things, you lubricate the system.
Well, there are also, you have what is called very radical growth stem cells in bone marrow. You can only find in bone marrow and placenta and fresh raw milk. That will stimulate any kind of cell to develop. So bone marrow is excellent. It's also great for the skin. Got a testimonial here if she wants to give it. Yeah, you rub it on the skin. She had very dry skin 3 months ago. Very dry skin. She's been putting bone marrow on it how often?
I probably only do it by buying
A bag package.
sharing bags with women. So I take one, and I only do it maybe twice or 3 times in the week, and then.
And look what it's done to her skin already. I mean, the difference is like night and day.
You put it on.
And she's been on and off the diet for what, 6 years? 8 years on and off the diet. And that's still, even with the lubrication formula, it's still, she was so dry when I met her. It's like she was beef jerky. I hate to be there, but now that I can say it, yeah, I can say it now that your skin is so beautiful compared. And she had big brown splotches. They're also gone. Even black splotches here. Well, you got to stop coloring it. You got to stop bleaching it. It's still, you're treating it with a chemical. Even if it's henna, it's still processed. Yeah. But, the lubrication formula works for hair. Protein makes the hair grow fast. If I eat a pound and a quarter of meat a day, my hair grows 1 inch or more a month. My nails, I have to cut them every 10 days when I'm eating that much meat. So I usually eat a pound a day, and it grows 1 inch a month. That's a lot of hair.
Do you put cream in your meat when you eat it? Sour cream?
Very rarely do I put cream with my meat unless it's sour cream.
Sour cream.
Cream coats meat and makes it very difficult to digest. Remember, cream is the hardest fat to digest. It's the most complex. It requires almost 60 varieties of cholesterol produced by the liver to digest it. But it makes, 30 varieties of cholesterol. The only place that we can make them from is the raw cream to feed the brain and the nervous system. So raw cream is a very important substance to have, but don't have it with your meat unless you've already soured it, pre-digested it.
With eggs and the milk?
Pardon?
With eggs and milk can be added the cream?
You can, to a meat meal, you can add sour cream. But mostly eat butter with meat.
The James has that chicken ceviche, they put cream in it. I don't know.
Chicken ceviche is different. It's, still we can prevent it from digesting, but you've got lemon juice in there that helps digest the cream. So that's probably okay. If you see the meat come out in your fecal matter, kind of pearlish, you're not digesting it. Stop eating cream.
So we should buy sour cream instead?
Sour cream, yes, if you want it with meat. It's fine. And if you have sour cream with mushrooms and meat, really nice. And then chives.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Really nice.
Gonna go right home and do that.
Okay, we're going around here. She doesn't have a question. You answered the question. Do you have a question? You're looking better. You're gaining more weight. Every time I see you, you're gaining more weight. I like that.
I talked to my sister was a therapist, and I showed him your article on bruises.
On what?
Bruises and whether you put ice or heat.
Uh-huh.
And his assistant read your article, and he was saying that in the acute phase of an injury, what is recommended is generally ice. That if you put heat on it, you're going to get an embolism, and
that's if you're not on a good diet. But still, if you put ice on it, you've blocked the increase of circulation and nutrients to that area. You're going to scar. When you have a flush, when you get a damaged area like that, you've got red blood cells that have broken out of their venous territory. That's what a bruise is. Blood cells that have gotten out of the bloodstream. That's what a bruise is. Red blood cells out of their environment. If you don't get nutrients in there like lymphatic flow, neurological flow, excess blood flow in that area, you're not going to clean it out. It's going to remain in there, harden and scar. I don't care what kind of a diet you're on. So you can pack ice on it for 2 minutes to stop the pain, to numb the pain. Any more than that, you're going to freeze and shrink everything, and you're going to have scar tissue in that area. Every athlete that I worked with does not burn out. I have one athlete, what's his name?
Pim Wall?
Pim Wall. Now, this guy is already 61 years old.
Oh, he's older than that.
Oh, he's all, and he does 12,500 jump ropes an hour.
Oh my God.
Okay, can you imagine that?
No.
When he came to me, he gave me the charts on it. His heart rate when he finished was within 3 minutes after he finished, his heart rate was about 170 to 180.
Oh my God.
And it was like that every day for almost a whole year. As soon as he started on the diet, it decreased. Within 6 months on the diet, 5 to 6 months on the diet, his heart rate was 110.
What?
Is that the mushroom?
110.
It was 110 after what?
After 6 months of the
Went down from 170 to 180 after the jump rope.
It was 110 after.
So
That's
jump
right,
roping is
after
good
1
for
hour of jump rope.
Jump roping is great.
Very serious. So, I mean, people who get injuries on this diet, if they use ice, you're going to scar. I don't care what diet you're on. You use ice only to numb it no more than 2 minutes. You put heat on that area. You stay off of it. You don't get back on the field. That's for the coach and the team. That's not for your welfare. That's why these athletes burn out in their late 30s, because they're so scarred and injured. Yes? The same subject? Oh, well, it's your question anyway.
Yeah. We want to get backpacking for like.
Where?
Sierras.
Okay. not so hot. I didn't know if you're going down to the Andes and real high mountain. Sierras aren't that hot, so the oxygen level is going to be okay. When I went hiking in Hawaii, in Waipio Valley, the whole area there, I backpacked and hiked all of the island, all the way down to green sands. They actually have black-green sand, and that's the lowest point in America, south. And I hiked there all the way up to Waipio Valley. So what I took was I had one of those 1.5 liter Lexan containers with 2/3 butter and 1/3 honey. Even when it got fermented near my 10th day of hiking, backpacking, and even though it was fermented, it was perfect. And whenever I came to a store, I had a meat.
So, but if we were to go out 10 days without having a resupply, like if we just had to carry with us for 10 days, well,
like I say, butter and honey is your best thing to take.
As your main food?
I'd still take some cheese.
So like for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks on the trail, everything, you'd say just butter, honey, and cheese?
And you could take, nuts, seeds. Seeds are a little bit better. Pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds are good nutrients, but you have to eat them with the honey and butter. And I would take, an egg, at least 1 egg a day. So let's say you're going 10 days, that's at least 10 eggs, for each person.
So we can't really make juice. So what?
Pardon?
We can't really make juice.
Would you recommend taking
No,
milk?
you don't eat juice. You're going to have to drink water here and there. Where you can find it.
You're not recommending meats for them?
You're not going to be able. Well, if they'll eat high meat, it's great.
Can you eat high meat the whole time?
Oh, absolutely. I have one guy that eats 2 pounds of high meat a day. He doesn't eat any fresh. He was a very antisocial guy, big guy, bear of a guy. Maybe a 5.5 and looks 6 if you've got a little appearance for him. That type of guy, he may be a 6.5 to some women. Okay, and he was very antisocial. He became a landscape artist because he hated people. So he was on the diet on and off, a lot of depression, anxiety, all this stuff, mostly depression because his E. coli is bad. Anytime you have depression, you've got a problem with low E. coli colonies. E. coli is the final stage of protein and fat digestion. Breaks it down to the finitest molecules to feed the brain and the nervous system. If you don't have good colonies of E. coli, you're not going to feed the brain and the nervous system correctly. So you're going to find depression and sadness in your life. You also obviously find constipation because the body's trying to hold on to the fecal matter to draw out everything that the E. coli can break down. And the longer that fecal matter is in there, the deeper the E. coli can get in to feed on it. So if you're not constipated where you're getting huge fecal matter that doesn't come out, that's not real constipation. That's your body just holding the fecal matter up in the colon. If you're having movement so big that it rips your rectum, that's true constipation. The other constipation is low E. coli level, body holding onto your fecal matter. Then you just need to squirt a little mixture of raw butter, raw coconut cream, like 3 tablespoons of each, 2 to 3 tablespoons of each, coconut cream, butter, and dairy cream. Maybe, about 1/4 teaspoon of honey mixed in that. And you take a syringe and squirt it up in your rectum. It'll feed the E. coli for 3 to 5 days at a time, so you won't have to hold up the fecal matter so long. That's the way you can feed it directly.
How long do you hold it in?
You should just leave it in. Do it right before you go to sleep and leave it in. Because you want to feed that E. coli. You don't want to release it. You go to sleep with it in you. So this guy, I didn't finish that story. So after 2 years of going back and forth with this guy, on and off the diet, and his mood swings, I said, listen, Tarzan, he calls himself Tarzan, Tarzan, you've got to, that's his email address. I said, you've got to try the high meat. Just try it one time. I'm already on this wild diet, it's so antisocial, and you want me to eat sticky meat? I said, yeah, if it makes you happy, why not? Try it. So he tried it. And he didn't call me and report until a week later. And he says, I've eaten it every day. I'm only eating high meat from now on. So that's all he eats is high stinky meat, 2 pounds a day. You got a bear of a guy. The last time I went and had a workshop where he lived, now this is an antisocial guy that couldn't be funny if he tried. He is funny. He's hilarious. He had 10 girlfriends at my workshop. Together. Dating all 3 of them. That's charm. So the high meat works. It works for everybody who does it. Everybody. Do you have a question?
Almost all of babies all have stings.
Most of your meat. I would say 2/3 of my meat stings. Yes. You have a question? Colin? All right. Do you have a question?
I do. So, kind of feeding off of the question on E. coli in general, there's something that's really really bothering me about some of the stuff I've read about what you've said in talking to you. You said
that isn't unusual.
Right.
Most people get very disturbed.
Exactly. Well, it's bothering me because of supposedly what I know.
You've been brainwashed.
Exactly. Exactly. So we've been told that bacteria causes disease. We've been told, right? Exactly. We've been told that viruses, and then you've debunked that. You said that's not true. It's the body's reaction to disease.
Chemical in the body. The virus are just soaps. How can soap be contagious? Is Tide soap contagious?
So when I had the session with you, we talked about this, but we had so much to talk about, I didn't get a chance to. So how do you account for, say, the whole industry behind biological warfare, anthrax? How do you account for it?
You have to understand that their active ingredients is never the bacteria. Just like in a vaccine. Why do they have liquid mercury, liquid aluminum, formaldehyde, detergent, and ether? All poisons. Why are those the main ingredient in a vaccine? Because if you take the bacteria and all of that, there won't really be a problem, except that the body reads it. When Pasteur was doing his experiments with animals, he was giving them a solution of almost pure disease, diluted in distilled water, with a slight bit of carbohydrate in it, like from grapes. Every animal got anaphylaxis and died. Not one animal ever survived a vaccine from Pasteur. But they found when they started putting, other researchers started putting formaldehyde and other poisons, strychnine, in the vaccines, it'd stop the reaction, because it would poison the body so much it wouldn't even think about the disease. Because the theory is there that disease was so high that the body would say, I'm dying, and die, if they had that concentration of disease in the blood at one given time. So the body would go into anaphylaxis, which is shock, and it would die. Just because it thought it was very diseased, from analyzing all of this disease particles in it.
So I mean, I'm still confused. Are you saying that it's the formaldehyde that say when the
formaldehyde, the mercury, the aluminum, that's causing all the disease?
That's causing
the pollution is causing disease. The Black Plague was caused from coal. The king and queen had a great new in 1301, 1302. The king and queen of England, with their little side groups, started the coal industry. People using coal in their homes to keep the house warm and to cook with. The byproduct of burning coal is mercury vapors. Damaged the lungs for that whole 30-year period, and you had the Black Plague. Plus you had on every other block, you had a silversmith, and on every other block it was a blacksmith. So you had their metallic vapors going into the streets of Paris and London, all the major cities. Most jewelry was silver and gold. burned, and the kilns all throughout the city.
So you're saying biological warfare is nothing but gas warfare, really?
Well, there's poisons in the gas. There's a specialist on germ warfare that worked on it with the government. He turned on the government 7 years ago and said, if you don't inhale the air for 3 minutes that the anthrax has been released, the anthrax is not the deadly part of it. It's the other properties that keep it airborne, and the heavy metals that they use are poisonous. So you can cover your mouth, you won't be harmed with it, but it's not the anthrax that is the problem. It's the thing that's carrying the anthrax. Okay, that's a long subject. We could go on for days. Do you have a question?
Alzheimer's. Do you have a recommendation for
What stage?
He's at the point where he'll talk to himself in the mirror for an hour and a half.
He what?
He'll talk to himself in the mirror for an hour and a half.
That's not Alzheimer's. No. Alzheimer's is we can't remember anything. Okay. Delusions is, delirium is when you start talking to yourself all the time. If he can't dress himself, he forgets how to dress himself, forgets how to move, forgets how to walk, forgets his address, goes wandering, doesn't know where you are. That's, yeah. So he has a little bit of dementia because he's talking with himself, and he has a little bit of forgetfulness. So maybe he's in 1 or 2 stage. On a raw diet, with lots of raspberries and coconut cream, can get the aluminum out of the brain. Aluminum causes most Alzheimer's. And most of that aluminum comes from the canned foods, especially canned beverages like beer and anything like Coca-Cola that comes in aluminum cans, and vaccines, and any injection that carries liquid mercury. Okay. So that's the problem. 3rd and 4th stage Alzheimer's, this diet will stop, but it does not reverse it. Okay. But it makes the body younger and everything else. Do you have a question? No? Do you? Steve, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering what you think of the idea of eating like a cooked meal every once in a while, like once a week, once a month, just to kind of keep your immune system kind of stimulated almost. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like a good stress almost.
Well, that would, I could make an analogy. Shoot me with a bullet once a month so I can stay immune to a bullet.
Yeah.
It's a toxic substance. That doesn't make you immune to it. Your body already knows how to handle toxicity.
Right.
You don't have to eat it to take care of it. You had, 32 years of it?
Yeah.
Your body knows how to handle cooked foods. It's not going to forget.
Right.
It takes 40 years to clean the body completely. And in that 40 years, you're not going to forget. Right. I haven't gotten to that 12 more years to get my 40 in. I'm still in prison for 12 more years. I'm in a delightful prison, right?
It's just that I think that sometimes when I eat 100% for like a couple of weeks, and then I have just one meal, I get so tired, from that.
That's because it takes all of your energy and all of your nutrients to deal with those toxins.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, why do I want to sacrifice 5 to 24 hours of energy for 10 to 15 minutes of a cooked food? What logic is that? For my own logic, it's insanity. For people who have a taste bud that's so important to them, it's not insanity. And I don't judge them for it. That's their choice. But me, no way I'm sacrificing 5 to 24 hours for 10, 20 minutes of eating a cooked food. To me, that's absolutely insane. I don't have enough time now. Yes. I eat my raw. I don't have a problem. And with my relatives, I just say I'm allergic. You say allergies, and nobody wants to be responsible for an allergic reaction. And my grandmother, who was Jewish, me eating butter, with meat, or dairy with meat, that was unheard of. You have separate plates that you eat, and you never have them at the same meal. Well, I was driving them crazy. eating everything raw, full of bacteria and all of that, and then being unkosher at the same time. And I said, Grandma, I have allergies. Her religion went right out the window. And she says, okay, if it's for your health, you do what you have to do. And even the rabbi that was there, he said, if it's medicinal and it works, you do it. So I got dispensation.
So when you have no choice, you can eat love butter, you can eat love avocado with it.
Yeah. Right.
Let me just say, Barbara spent 100% on the primal diet for 2 years, and if we go somewhere, we just bring our own food.
Yep.
Nobody argues,
Yeah.
They understand.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted two things, and that is, for hiking, high meat would be good, I guess.
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry
You
about
couldn't get more energy, and you go around. I went on a hike with somebody with nothing but high meat for 7 days. We giggled and had fun the whole way. Everything with the environment, the trees were alive. Everything pulsated more because we had more nerve cells alive in feeding them on eating high meat all day. Then she ate, we were in Hawaii, and then she ate some fermented guavas. Then she turned a little nuts. A little crazy. Got a little extreme, a little too sexual in front of other people and stuff like that. So don't eat highly fermented guavas along the way.
Are you sure you shouldn't eat high ground meat? Like older ground meat?
Well, I find that sometimes causes nausea. When the meat is ground with the fat, sometimes it will cause massive detoxification of the liver or pancreas. So it's not as good to eat high meat that's ground.
The other thing was, Nathan's got really into doing coffee enemas, and I just wanted to know...
There's your E. coli. You want to get depressed? Do it. You want to ruin digestive abilities for your brain and nervous system? Enema with coffee. It also sends adrenaline, and caffeine into your whole body, your whole system. You can take cocaine, it's just as good. Coffee enema is just as good and just as damaging as snorting cocaine. It's just you're damaging the lungs in one area and you're damaging the bowel in the other. Very dangerous to do that. A lot of the people I know that have made a habit of doing coffee enemas, in their late 30s and 40s and 50s, they are constantly depressed. They have to enema every day with that coffee. It's the same as a drug. I will eat every day because I have to eat to survive and to thrive. But I'm certainly not going to stick coffee up my butt. Very unnatural. And that caffeine is a drug. It's not raw coffee. It's not raw caffeine that you're putting up you. If you want a raw caffeine, have chocolate. You can get theobromine, you get theophysine, and caffeine all in one lump. Now we only have to eat a little bit. And it won't get you sick unless you eat too much of it, it'll demineralize your system. And a lot of people who do those coffee enemas, guess what they end up with? Osteoporosis. Heavily. Deterioration of their bones. They start eating their own bones to defend themselves with the heavy mineral need from the caffeine. We're going to have to move on from that now.
No enemas.
No enemas. That just flushes E. coli out. From one enema, it takes 45 to 60 days to replace the E. coli. From one enema. If you do a colonic, it may take 6 months.
A friend that gets headaches says it resolves his headache.
Certainly it does. But that doesn't make the good way to do it. I can take cocaine and get rid of a headache. I can have a broken toe and get rid of a toe ache from taking cocaine. That doesn't make it healthy. Okay? Do you have a question?
I lost my German question.
You got several questions. Don't give me that shit.
Yes,
Go ahead.
So-called autoimmune inflammatory diseases, arthritis, psoriasis.
There is no such thing as an autoimmune. That is a manufactured bullshit story created by the pharmaceutical and medical community.
But why?
That's like, okay, The Russians are coming. I can now go to war. I can make tanks, bullets, planes, bombs, nuclear weapons. I can spend all this energy on arming myself because the Russians are going to take over. That was the reason for the war effort for 30 years. The Russians were coming. Autoimmune, the body never turns against itself. Ever, ever, ever turns against itself. You would never heal if you had that problem. You've got so many poisons in your body that it's deteriorating the cells. Bacteria, parasites, virus, none of them tear the body down and work against you. You don't fight your own blood unless it's been poisoned, contaminated. And then it's not going after the cell because it's a cell, because it's you. It's going after it because it's contaminated. Autoimmune, get rid of that. That is a misnomer.
So then why, when you give them internally a steroid, a cortisol or something, corticosteroid, why does that then stop the response in the skin or wherever it was having inflammation? It heals.
Okay. You got to get this down. All right. Whenever you have a skin disorder or problem, you've got a toxin leaving the body. A toxin leaving the body, 90% of them leave through the skin. Unless you're having diarrhea or vomit. Then a high proportion will go there. But 90% of your everyday toxins leave through the skin. If you got toxins leaving through the skin, that's a good thing. You've got sores, deal with them another way, but don't stop it. You take a steroid, it's a chemical. What is a steroid? It's made with what? Trans fatty acids, synthesized proteins, or extracted with kerosene or alcohol and kerosene out of soybeans. Toxic substance. So toxic that what happens? Your body deals with that toxin and stops detoxing the old stuff you had in the body that was going through the skin.
Wonder drug.
Yeah, your wonder drug, but they're really not healing you or making you better. They've just stopped, they poisoned you to the point where your body has to deal with that poison and stop all the other old detoxification of poisons.
And then after time, you more and more of it.
That's the time you just take care of the direct sores that you're having, and you treat them accordingly. You can use lime juice, coconut cream, the Primal Facial Body Care Cream, clay, mixed with coconut cream. Keep it moist. That's what you want to help draw those poisons out. You don't want to stop the poisons from drawing out. Look at this right here. You see the swelling I have? Last night it was huge swelling. When I was a child, every time I got Novocaine or Xylocaine injected into my gums, I would blow up like this, and then I would get these hard tumors right here. And then for the next 10 days, they would boil up, and they would burn my skin away. So I used to have these deep scars here. And since I stopped using Xylocaine and Novocaine, when I have dental work, I haven't had that problem. But I got mugged in Bangkok 3.5 years ago, and they broke these two teeth with the bone and knocked it under my tongue. They hit me with a crowbar or a ball-peen hammer to get my movie camera away. So they knocked these teeth of this bone all the way down to here underneath my tongue. The doctors said, the dental surgeon said, you've got a hose of nerves that go all the way along, and the teeth attached to them. The nerve of the tooth attaches to that hose. Once you split that hose, it can never mend. And those teeth will rot out of your mouth. You'll never have feeling again. Then the bone will deteriorate and damage, because I had split the bone here, here, and here with these 3 teeth all the way under. And I said, well, you don't know what kind of a diet I'm on. You know, they think I'm a Looney Tune. And I said, whatever it takes, I want you to pry that bone and work it back in. Excruciating pain. So I accepted some Novocaine. So I'm dealing with it again. It's detoxing every 18 months. I've got it coming out here since those injections. And this is the time. First the teeth will hurt, here and here, and then it'll swell, then it hardens here. I take a little jar, like a 12-ounce jar, smooth jar, or 16-ounce jar with hot water in it, and I put it up there. A hot water bottle is too big to go on my face, so I take a little jar, glass jar, with hot water, and I put it there, and we'll just sleep with it next to that area, and it softens that hardened stuff. So I know it's not going to come out as a boil. It's going to be leaking down my gum. So I eat enough cheese, some clay, to absorb it a little bit throughout the day, to absorb those toxins. Okay? All right. Do you have a question, David?
Yes. A lot of people are worried about famines, food shortage, and things like that. And most people are accumulating beans and grains and other things.
You want to
like
be
that.
around them when they're passing gas?
Well, no. let's say, how would a primal dieter, if he did have some concern of a food shortage, possible famine, what would a primal dieter do in a famine or a food shortage, and how would they prepare for it?
Okay, the way I did, and the way I'm still prepared, I have deer meat that's floating in either coconut oil or olive oil, completely preserved. I did it in the year 2000, and that meat is still as fresh and as clean. And I can just pull it out and eat it.
How much?
No, not in the fridge. I have in the lower cupboard.
A couple weeks worth, or what?
Well, let's say you're consuming, let's say, rationing it a half a pound a day minimum. You're going to be thinner. You're going to be thinner. And if you're rationing, you're going to be thinner. So you're doing half a pound a day. I put them in gallon jars and 2-quart jars, half-gallon jars, and it's floating in there. But let me tell you, there's very little oil compared to the amount of meat. So I've got a week's worth of meat in a gallon jar. So if I have 3 of those and 3 half gallons, I've got a good supply of meat for a long time. Unrefrigerated. No, it doesn't. It doesn't get high. The fat oil seals it.
No matter what kind of meat.
Just soak it in oil, coconut oil.
What I did was I put layers of strips of meat around in a jar, pulled the oil in till it got on top, then I put more meat in and around, then I put more oil in, just so it coated everything. But it's not a lot of oil in there, just enough to seal everything, seal the air out. Olive oil and coconut oil is what I use.
Just with your hand, and you could rub the meat with the oil, can't you?
No, you need it to cover it. You can't have air in the jar. Olive oil doesn't go rancid. Coconut oil doesn't go rancid.
I don't get you. You put
So that's the extent of your food preparation for.
No, I have jars of honey, gallons of jars of honey. Butter, I always keep an extra 8 pounds in my refrigerator because you never know what could happen. I can melt that down and add.
So you got maybe a couple months worth of food, whereas these people with the beans and the rice could conceivably have a couple years worth.
And then go out and eat a couple of people every day to get their, to get their meat.
But would you go to like beans and rice if you got to that? Never. You would.
No, I would never get to that point. I'd be out hunting and growing creatures quickly. These squirrels would not be my friends anymore. They would be my herd. I would have them in that cage that I built down there, and I've got the cage ready.
You live in the city, you don't get that.
And the coyotes I would be shooting. Because I already tried to raise chickens here, and they got inside the coop and everything. It went right through that screen door. You can see it ripped. And got one of my chickens right up against my screen door while I was sitting right there.
What if they put you in a concentration camp and they fed you like soup and rice and beans?
I would be dead.
You wouldn't eat it?
No.
Under no circumstances.
I understand death is.
Would you eat your own pee and drink your own shit?
Oh yeah, I could do that.
Is that your famine food? Your piss and your shit?
Let me tell you, if you got a concentration camp, you got some kind of a farm to feed it. So I'd be out there milking the cows, sucking their teats. I'd be getting what I could.
What did you say about
But is that what our shit and our piss is? Is that like a food supply?
Now, if you were completely raw food all of your life, fecal matter in urination is never a discard of waste. It's just byproducts being released, undigested food, completely undigested being released. It's like in Georgia, Russia, and some areas of Thailand and Asia, they eat the fecal matter from the water buffaloes. Why? Because it's pre-digested to the point where we can't digest it. So they can get a lot of protein and fat from it. A lot of other beetles and insects also eat fecal matter because they can get nourished by it.
But you wouldn't want to eat your fecal matter if you hadn't been raw for a while? Or?
I wouldn't want to. Okay, you have a question.
Last time I asked a question about water bottles, and I have this water bottle that's not glass insert, it's stainless steel, and you said something about the ions, and I left here not understanding what the damage it is.
Anytime you have metal around food, it changes the electrical magnetic properties of the food. It draws in radio waves. Metal is a conductor of electricity, of radio waves, and it's an attractor, it's an antenna for it. So it'll draw compounds in there which will break up the structure of your food.
So it's damaging.
Yeah, it's damaging.
To your body?
If you're having just water in it, it's not going to make any difference. But if you have,
Kefir or milk.
then you're going to disturb the food. It's going to be broken a little bit.
So just
gonna be
water is okay?
Water doesn't make any difference. Water is not alive.
Does that also leach into the liquid or whatever?
No, stainless steel will not.
Oh, really?
Unless you leave it in. If you put salt water in stainless steel, it will leach. If it's just plain water, it will not.
So those new Neo, whatever, those bottles and everything for waters or anything are no good, right?
They all leach.
Plastic.
Plastic, the water will draw compounds out. The FDA came out with a report that said PBAs are safe. Hello?
No, but I mean the non-PBA ones, they're still not good.
There's PBA in all of them.
Oh, okay.
So glass is the only thing?
Glass is the only thing where you're safe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you're getting food in plastic, get it out of the plastic immediately, put it in glass. That lid, that's a Kerr lid. It's been shellacked. That's getting into your food. You get the ball jars that are enameled. Now see, James Stewart of Rawson, I said, get the ball jars. And he said, I called Kerr, and they said that it's the same thing. Hello? One is enameled, and the other is shellacked metal. You have to go to James and tell him. I can't.
So the lids,
He doesn't listen to me.
jar is okay?
Pardon? The glass jar is great.
Okay, but it's the lid.
It's the lid that's the problem.
So the Kerr lids are shellacked and no good.
Correct.
Where can you buy these? Yeah.
Ball jar lids. Ball jar lids. They're enameled.
They're the regular ones.
They're white.
Yeah, they're white. That's enamel.
So what's that?
Fired on enamel.
I had ball jar ones.
What
that are
happens
just
if you
like
have it with the shellac?
It couldn't be.
Pardon?
I had some that say ball on the top.
Not with that color.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
So
Ball jars are all enamel. Ball jar lids are all enamel. Kerrs, none of them are enamel.
Oh, only.
Oh.
So what happens if you have it?
You're going to get shellac toxins in your food.
You get rid of those hardware.
Yep. And you have to talk James into using ball jar lids.
Okay.
And if he says, they're the same, I'll call Kerr, we'll say, how can enameled be the same as shellacked metal? How, James? How can it be?
Not shellacked. Okay, I'll tell him.
So you guys have to tell him. I've told him 3 times. You have to demand it. It's your food.
What's it called?
Kerr. Ball jar lids. BALL. They're made by the Ball Jar Company.
Kathy and Lindsay, I'll go up with you together.
Okay. I'm not going to be here Wednesday, but I'll get them, don't worry.
Okay, do you have a question?
I do. I noticed that when I eat certain food like bananas, orange, and carrots, I would wake up feeling my right hand is swollen.
When you do what?
I would wake up and feeling my.
When you do what though?
When I eat certain food like orange and banana.
Uh huh.
I would wake up in the morning feeling like.
You should. You're an Asian who's eating mainly carbohydrate, starches. You shouldn't be eating fruit unless it's not ripe. Unripe fruit.
Oh.
You're going to have a greater reaction with sugars.
Okay.
You know. So keep carrot juice down to a minimum. Keep anything high carbohydrate down to a minimum. Eat cherries, they're not high in carbohydrate. Berries are not high in carbohydrate. Unripe fruit is not high in carbohydrate. Eat things that are low in carbohydrate. If I eat carbohydrate food, my feet swell, my muscles swell, my whole body swells. My thighs swell, everything swells.
Yeah. What causes the swelling?
That's the sugar. The sugar is looking for fat to burn and digest. To digest and burn. As fuel. If it doesn't find it, it goes into your cells, usually your nerve cells, and that causes immense swelling. Because your body's eating itself for the protein. And it also demineralizes the body and causes more pain, more agony. Fruit is a very dangerous thing to eat unless you're eating lots of fat and lots of meats. Together, yeah. Well, if you're eating the fruit, you want to eat fat with the fruit to slow it down. Okay. And that's all explained in the books. Reread the books on the carbohydrates. Okay? Do you have a question, Corrine?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes. Okay, so I'm sure.
I like the name Corrine. I like to call you Corrine.
You can call me Corrine.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
Yeah, thank you. It's not really my name, it's my husband's name. But I
still
borrowed
yours?
that. Yeah. Okay, I have a question in regards to the irradiation of the vegetables now that started today. Oh, what? I'm sorry. The irradiation of vegetables that started today. I'm sure
Only 2 vegetables.
It's only 2.
And they're in the mainstream. They're not going to go to the health food stores.
Which one?
That goes into the regular supermarkets. Are you buying food from the regular supermarket?
No. I just was wondering. It's is it only spinach and lettuce?
It's only spinach and lettuce right now. It's almost all avocados. Papayas. Almost all papayas that enter this country are irradiated.
Papayas.
If you see this papaya shriveled and burned on one side, they've been irradiated.
Well, where do you buy the papayas then?
You just have to look for organic and look at them and make sure they're organic and not irradiated. So you look for shriveled side with a burn, just on one part of that papaya. If you see that on the papaya, it's been irradiated. And that's where you have to look for it.
You didn't say avocados, did you?
No.
Just those 3 then.
But they've been doing potatoes for 25 years.
No, I know.
They've been increasingly, and they let you know a little at a time. If you're not shopping at a supermarket, you're going to be okay. If you're shopping for vegetables and fruit at a regular supermarket, you're risking irradiated food. Period. Whole Foods, not yet.
They're not doing
Nothing they buy is irradiated. Those companies aren't big enough to have those irradiated. That radiating your food is very complex and complicated and expensive. So it's only these big conglomerates, like Kroger's, A&P, what do we have here? Ralph's, supermarkets like that. Because it so-called kills bacteria. Has a longer shelf life. So-called.
They don't want to
Well, and also that it brings our health down. It's not giving any
that's right.
nutrients.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like
They want it to look good.
Do you have a question?
Yes. I wanted to ask you about coconut cream, oil, and what's it? Coconut
butter.
Water. Coconut water. Water, oil, and cream. I wanted to ask you what the difference is between or among those 3 and what benefits each.
Coconut milk, also called coconut water, is water. Little bit of extra minerals and nutrients in it, a little higher in calcium, but it's basically water. In Asia, women will not drink but maybe a half a cup of it a day because it causes swelling, causes water retention. It is water. Asians don't drink water like we do. I mean, you don't see Asians going around drinking water all the time unless they're the new generation who've been brought up by TV and the school system, which is mainly Western teachings, you know. But I've dated quite a few Asians, and they will only have water with their meals because of the dry rice. But they don't drink water all day long. They eat things with nutrients in them. They'll eat fruit off the peddlers on the street. They'll eat fruit. They'll eat vegetables with water in them. Not water bound like that. Now the coconut cream has both water-soluble and oil-soluble vitamins and minerals and enzymes. Coconut oil only has oil-soluble vitamins and minerals and doesn't have any protein. Your coconut cream has everything in it. It's a complete food. 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbs. What is the perfect fuel to burn for man to give the greatest amount of energy and endurance? 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbohydrates in the citric acid cycle. And that doesn't come from carbs. It comes from fat. Okay? So your coconut cream is the most excellent fuel for athletes. Or a combination of butter and meats, eggs, anything that'll make 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbs before your tournament or your exercise regime, whatever it is. You have more endurance, you'll have more strength. To get well, that protein level needs to get up to 25-35%.
So what do you use
to recover from your exercise?
What do you use coconut oil for? People are going crazy about it.
Because most people aren't getting a good fat. They're eating lots of vegetable oils, which are garbage, so it helps them. But after a couple of years of filling up on those oils, unless they're athletes, they're going to have a lot of problems because they're only getting oil-soluble vitamins and nutrients. But it's helpful for them for a period.
I got a question.
Hold on. Yes, I know. I'm going back to it right now. Yeah, but hold on.
Does it matter if it's organic or non-organic? Because I can't find non-organic ones.
Coconuts doesn't matter whether they're organic or not. Okay? Coconuts, the only time that they put chemicals around coconuts is if they've got a crop in between the coconuts. They'll be spraying for that crop. If any pesticides get on the coconut, guess where it goes? They've got a husk on them anywhere from this big to this big. Hairy husk underneath that either green or gold or brown outer hard skin over it. So in the center is your coconut. So all the poison stay in those fibers, does not get into the coconut. I've had at least 7 coconuts, non-organic, tested, and I couldn't find even a trace amount of toxins in the meat.
You shouldn't waste your money on organic ones.
Well, I don't know. There might be some trace that are undetectable. You have to understand there's a limit to our, science. I could not find what they could find as a trace. Their trace. That doesn't mean there's not something in it. So if you can get organic, go for it. But the likelihood of you having a problem with an inorganic coconut, it would be very difficult. You'll probably lose some nutrients because they won't be absorbed, but not likely to harm you. About the same subject?
I'm kind of searching for what would be a source of protein that is a vegetable source of protein. I understand you can choose sprouts, but that's just a little...
Sprouts are not digestible. Sprouts are not digestible.
So what?
I mean, the protein and fats in a sprout are not digestible.
So what are vegetable sources of protein that one can have?
Your cucumber, but it's mostly collagen-related protein that you're going to get. So that we're not a vegetarian animal.
Right. Well,
We're not going to get. Well, I would say go for chlorella. Chlorella will digest to probably 50%. Chlorella. Pardon? Chlorella is an algae, a type of algae. And you can get raw ones. Nikki Ng gets it from a very good source in Asia, and then they sell it in a little black container at Rawsome. Very expensive, but you're going to only need a teaspoon a day if you have it. I mix it with cottage cheese and egg, and it will digest better that way. Some people took it and put it in vegetable juice, but if you put it in vegetable juice, you have to let it sit in the vegetable juice for about 20 minutes. It's to get some vegetable-type protein and fat that won't cause crystallization in the human body. Any other vegetable source
you
will.
would do it, put it in juice every day?
Whatever you feel like it. Once a day is fine.
I mean, you don't stop for 10 days and stop 10 days?
Whatever you want. I've never done specific tests with it. That's right. Well, there are some elements that are finite that could be introduced into your body that allow you to make different things that are unusual. Could give you unusual mental abilities and stuff like that. That could be helpful for you. So as long as it's not harmful, it's okay. Yes.
I'm curious about what I know any kind of drug is bad, but what you know about what Ritalin would do does to the body. Drugs like Ritalin, and specifically what you would recommend maybe for someone who has, the symptoms that are collectively called ADD.
Okay.
In terms of diet.
My son was put on Ritalin when he was 6 years old. He has a crack cocaine addiction that's gone on since he was a teenager. Now, about 10 years ago, a psychiatrist / psychologist, you got a doctorate in both, and I don't believe in psychiatry, I believe in psychology. You deal with the here and now of the philosophies and try to make a positive life out of it. Psychiatry blames your mother, everything from the past for your problems now. There's no way to get it, and drug you to death, So anyway, she showed me a report that was written that 82 to 86% of the people who were confirmed crack cocaine addicted had been put on Ritalin as children. So there's a great link to other drug-related damages. Lots of skin problems, and about 90% of the takers, long-term takers of Ritalin, and also manic attacks, where you get over-positive and you think you can do things you shouldn't be doing. Some people will overspend money and put their entire families in debt. Compulsive gambling. I had one patient who thought he could just run money, $100 bill and $20 bills in a color copy machine and print them out. And he was so delusional that he thought that paper would be okay.
That would be great.
Yes, absolutely. It causes delusion.
Do you think that applies also to other things that you're trading?
Absolutely. Any of those drugs affect. Also, the really bad thing about those, all of the high school slayings that went on, every one of those children had been taking a psychotropic drug and had stopped taking it for 7 to 10 to 14 days before they went on this killing spree. The animal tests given to these psychotropic drugs given to animals and tests, when they withdrew from those drugs, they killed each other. Over 50% of the animals turned homicidal.
Do you have any recommendations for diet then?
Somebody who has ADD, you need to fucking exercise. Anxiety is exercise.
There you go.
You're producing so many hormones for physical activity. You need to exercise.
But if you exercise all the time, you still have...
You're an athlete. You should be a ditch digger, an athlete, carpenter, somebody who's always using their body.
Okay, what if they had Ritalin and they have drug problems now? What do you recommend can help them get out of that? So it's Ritalin for them?
You just have to go cold turkey and sing and exercise a
My
lot.
shoes on.
Yep.
But if, say that didn't help, all the
She's
exercise.
starting to walk.
It will.
It will.
Yeah. I've never found anybody. I've had patients who had 14 activity rings in their irises. That's the most I've ever seen. That means 14 hours of exercise a day. 14 hours of activity a day. 8 to 10 hours of exercise. Those are professional athletes, professional carpenters, ditch diggers, people who work hard, laborious every day, because that's their main product. Hormones for physical activity. And if I've never seen anybody that wouldn't exhaust and be relaxed after 14 hours. And if I knew how many activity rings you had, I'd know how many hours you need.
But it's not like, for me, it's not that I have an issue with being too much, like, I'm not hyperactive. Like, in fact, I'm actually feeling like you're tired and depleted all the time.
That's because you've got other ailments. And the drugs like Ritalin cause that problem. They call a lethargy of the body. Because that's what they're intended to do. Cause lethargy in the body. Yeah, you're still producing the hormones. That's why you have that, I don't feel like exercising, and then, you're also full of anxiety. It's a catch-22, but that's what they want, because then you'll stay on the medication for life. It's a trap. It's intended. I answered your question, James? Jim? Okay. Never. No. I haven't gotten near a porcupine. I don't want those things in me. Well, I don't know, but the natives would take, frogs, poisonous toads, and make darts with them for hunting. So you could use them as hunting tools, but as far as a nutrient, I don't know. I don't know how you would grind them down. Whether they'd be a replacement for bone or help bone, don't know. Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Hi.
So, I've been trying to topically put different oils on, to get my. Well, I asked you this question already because my bones are there's too much hardened stuff in my joints and everything.
Yeah.
So you said to put vinegar in the juice. So that's an internal thing, but I've been putting every other night I'll cover my whole body in olive oil to try to melt.
That won't do it. That'll smother your skin. That won't help
it. So much better than my knees just feel better.
Yeah, it will help that as far as pain, but it's not going to clear the problem. What you could do is you could put vinegar in the olive oil or vinegar and coconut cream and coat your body.
Because then the night, in between that, I use the coconut cream. Yeah, that doesn't feel great. But I cover myself with the coconut cream, but that doesn't feel good after.
Coconut cream and vinegar.
How much?
Lift it.
Proportion?
There you go. Thank you.
Proportion?
Proportion is about 1 tablespoon of vinegar to 5 tablespoons of coconut cream. That's topically.
But is there anything else?
So you could also put vinegar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar in, let's say, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So you're like a salad. Vinegar and oil.
What about internally? Are there more things to soften those?
Vinegar. With your weight, you could have up to 1.5 tablespoons a day. Just break it up.
And you can just eat that in the green juice?
Yeah. Yep. Basically, in the green juice is always preferable, or in the sport drink that I gave earlier. Okay, do you have a question? We only have 1 row to go, folks.
I spent a few months in Mexico, and when I came back here,
I started getting all these boils or something. I didn't know what it was. I let them go like for a month or something. But then they would go away, and some of them would leave a mark like if it was a bruise. And anyway, I went to this holistic doctor, and he gave me these herbs mix, and I took it, and it came up a lot worse. So I stopped it, and then he lowered the dose, but I've been on this like 3 months. They come and go. They come.
Your herbs not helping you. Your body is detoxing certain substances out the lymph system, goes into the connective tissue, and then when it goes out the skin, it causes the rash.
So if I stop all that mix that is helping me, or I don't see it. You know, it comes more like at night and stuff. I cannot eat anything that is not like meat, chicken, fish, or vegetables. If I eat any food, milk, cheese, anything, they start coming out.
Because that carries all the heavy minerals to get it to the skin.
What?
Because the dairy and the fruits contain the alcohol, things to get it out to the skin. Because right now it's basically staying in your connective tissue. You want to get it out of there.
Yeah, I want to.
You want to keep it there, you take hot baths.
Hot baths?
Perspire it out. Melt it down and get it out. So it doesn't have to cause such blistering.
Okay, so I stop the herbs and I take hot baths. And what else?
Coconut cream.
On top?
No, coconut cream. You drink some coconut cream like 2 ounces of coconut cream or 3 tablespoons of coconut cream, 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut cream, tablespoon of dairy cream, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and let's say 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and 2 ounces of pineapple. That'll help remove it for a bath. Okay. Pardon?
Everything what you say.
No, that's all by itself you have before the hot bath. That mixture is before the hot bath. Okay?
And that's all I have to do?
That'll help a great deal. Without seeing your eyes, I don't know what toxins are in the tissue. I don't know what's causing it without seeing what you're discharging.
Could you repeat
Okay.
what that mixture was again?
Pardon?
Repeat what the mixture was again?
Mixture was 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut cream. 2 tablespoons of lime juice. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. 1 tablespoon of coconut cream. 1 tablespoon of dairy cream. And then 1 to 2 ounces of pineapple. And blend that all together and drink that before your hot bath.
That's different than the formula that you have in the book.
That's for the long lymphatic baths. The short 35, and that's in addition to the book. When I found that a lot of people were dissolving the lymphatic congestion and it was dumping through the lymph system, dumps its dissolved fats and toxins into the connective tissue and skin to be perspired out. I found that some people who were taking the hot baths went through that process, but they didn't get it out of their skin. So about 20% of the people I found needed to do 35-minute baths every day that they weren't doing the hour to an hour and a half baths, lymphatic baths. That's to get it out the connective tissue. So add a 35-minute bath up to 5 days a week. So 2 long lymphatic baths and then 5 35-minute connective tissue flush. Pardon? No. One does not need to exercise after the short bath. The long bath, yes.
In the short baths, you take what you just prescribed.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't do the same.
He said,
Doesn't do it. Hot tub?
A steam sauna?
No, steam burns the mucous membranes in the lung, damages mucus production, damages those mucous membranes.
So any kind of
Dry causes dryness in the mucous membranes in the lungs. Both damages. So you have to get into, a jacuzzi, a hot tub, something like that that's not chlorinated.
Right. He said that it was a fungus, some green You know, he said it was just fungus all over the place. I had fungus.
Fungus is the detoxification of the chemicals that are stored in the connective tissue. Perspire them out and you don't need the fungus.
They burn. And
Let me tell you this again. Fungus eat the poisons that are in the connective tissue, organic waste. When it breaks them down, it's a very acidic compound that dries out the skin and causes itching and rashes. If you're using a hot bath with that formula, you can perspire it out so you don't have to have a fungus breaking it down into a smaller complex to get it out to the skin. Okay? All right. Well, I'm trying to rush this because we're getting very late.
Okay, one more.
And I've got a patient at 7 o'clock. What time is it? Quarter. Okay. All right. So, Kathy, do you have a question?
Oh, yeah. At James, they sell that hummus, but it has some sprouting in it. But
Hummus is garbage.
No, I mean, it's raw everything.
I don't care. It's garbage. It's made from chickpeas.
Chickpeas.
Germinated chickpeas.
How about if they use
Not going to
carrots?
digest it.
How about she uses carrots instead of the chickpeas?
To make hummus?
Yeah, when there's not.
It's not hummus.
I know, but it says she could make it with just carrots. Ground, very small.
I don't know. I've done no experiments with anything like that. I wouldn't.
If you don't use the chickpeas and just carrots.
Well, the chickpeas, you have to understand, any bean or grain that's been germinated has 3 other enzymes that act like phytic acid that prevent mineral absorption, that will prevent proper protein digestion and then proper fat digestion.
I know, but she uses, how does she wouldn't use the chickpeas? She has carrots instead. It's called.
I don't know. Carrots are a vegetable. If you're using vegetable fiber, you're not going to digest it unless you're fermenting it.
She was going to use it from my mother. That's all for her shop, you know.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right. You have a question?
Well, actually, I guess I do. Nerve disorders.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who has shooting pains that run down her legs, and every time she walks, like, I guess it's a nerve problem where there's just pain everywhere, and it just comes out of nowhere.
Could be mercury, it could be thallium, it could be formaldehyde, something from a vaccine or a medication, or she has lactic acid buildup in her system.
Okay.
That all she has to do is move her muscles and the pain shoots.
Well, and she just recently got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Do you think there's a connection between the two? Or?
Fibromyalgia is always heavy toxins stored throughout the body.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And so the diet that you talked about in your book is something that can work?
Yeah, but the addition, like I talked about earlier, did you come late?
No.
Okay. I talked about the vinegar, helping break that stuff down.
Oh, okay.
When you have it with, the sport drink and also with the vegetable juice.
Okay.
Okay? And that helps dissolve that. Also whey.
Whey, yes. Okay.
Helps remove it.
Okay.
Okay? You've got another question? I need to get finished with these people. Do you have a question? Oh, really? Okay.
Wow.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, because you've said that, LA water's got something like 170 chemicals.
93 chemicals now.
How much?
192
192. I'm thinking of...
We're the highest in the world.
Because of that, I'm looking at making sort of like a tank that's got clay on the bottom of it. Like, because I wash my celery, I wash my dishes, I wash pans. Would that help? If like I run water into this tank where it's stored and it's got the clay in it to absorb the crap, then I use that for washing and stuff like that. Would that actually help?
Well, I would say if you put some coconut cream as well as clay in it, it will be okay.
Like what percentage do you think it would remove out of the, roughly? Would it remove half of the chemicals, most of them?
You mean in the water?
Yeah.
Depends on how much clay. Let's say you had a 10-gallon tank.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say you had 10 gallon and you put a cup of clay in there and half a cup of coconut cream. That would arrest all the poisons in that water.
Oh, really? Okay. And if it doesn't have a top, will the chlorine vapors, will they come off too?
No, they're already arrested and transformed by the clay and the coconut cream.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and also 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Forgot that.
Oh, okay.
Vinegar will break down the chlorine quickly.
Basically,
Okay.
Used for bath.
Pardon?
It's basically the same thing used for bath,
Yeah.
only in a bigger.
Without the milk.
Okay, good.
You have a question?
Yes, we discussed that.
Oh, I want to show you an experiment that I've been doing for about a year. It's a little early. I like to use 2 years. You see his skin? They go like this. Okay, you see, it looks like an elephant. Well, last year, even when he didn't turn his skin like that, his neck was that way. So I have him applying vinegar straight on his neck one night and then coconut cream on another. He doesn't do it 7 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week.
Oh, I'm doing it more often now.
More often, and you see the change in the skin.
Yeah.
And how many months have you been doing it?
I started last year, but
Yeah.
I've been doing it consistently for 2 months now.
You see how well it works?
Mix it together or separate?
Separate. Well, one time he has the vinegar on, only vinegar on the neck one night. The next night, vinegar and coconut cream together.
With like a bandage?
No, just rubbed on.
Oh, just rubbed on the
Just rubbed on, that's it. Rubbed in a little bit, maybe 3 minutes.
That's easy.
Yep, thank you.
All right. The facial cream.
Primal Facial Body Care Cream doesn't do that kind of activity.
Okay.
It nurtures and builds the neck instead of taking dead cells away.
Neck.
The vinegar helps drive dead cells out.
The neck different than the base.
No, same thing if you have wrinkles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said vinegar one night, vinegar and coconut cream.
Mixture, yeah. Yeah, it's like 1 tablespoon of vinegar to 4 to 5 tablespoons of coconut cream.
At one time you said you could do them the same night but 5 minutes apart.
Yeah, I was experimenting with you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I've been experimenting with myself and other people.
Now, cream every night is going to help.
Coconut cream every night, as long as there's a little vinegar in it, it's going to take more of the dead cells away.
I use primal cream every night.
That helps build the skin,
Okay.
but doesn't get rid of scar tissue.
Or wrinkles or anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
What was? I didn't ask my question, which was we discussed that.
A guinea pig doesn't get a question.
Okay. Well, do I get it or not? Okay. We discussed that no antibiotics to be taken before a doctor gives you surgery, even though the doctor wants it. Well, what in the worst situation? Let's say one is conned into taking those antibiotics. What remedies after the damage has been done? What remedies? How can one?
What do antibiotics do?
They destroy germs.
No, they destroy bacteria. There's no such thing as germs.
Mm-hmm.
That is a word created. That's like the Russians are coming. The enemy's coming. The enemy's coming. There are no germs. There is bacteria. And bacteria always have their activity. So if your main activity is for digesting and healing, you stop digesting and healing. My father went through a stroke in December. He will only drink the milkshakes when I come to see him. I got there about 14 days ago, and he was in the hospital, and they're giving him high doses of antibiotics. He stopped eating. Why? Because the digestive system isn't working. 90% of your digestive activity is bacteria eating the foods. Their waste products is our nutrients. So you take antibiotics, you've destroyed all of the bacteria that is 90% of your digestion. So my father couldn't eat. He vomited anything you put into him that was cooked. So what did I give him? I gave him a half a cup of papaya every day and a milkshake. Got better every time. Didn't throw that up at all.
Milkshake with eggs and milk?
Eggs and milk and honey and cream. Extra cream.
So that's the remedy for extreme.
Yeah. Papaya.
Papaya and milkshake.
Papaya, yeah. Cheese to help get rid of some of that antibiotic, because antibiotic sticks around a while. Don't take it.
Yeah, no matter what.
Aajonus, I have two questions. I probably will be doing some surgery, not that I want to. My front teeth, my body is rejecting this right front tooth. I had a blob of mercury put up way up high on my gum line. It ate through my bone line. It ate through the front part of my teeth.
What dentist did this?
Oh, it was probably one of those lovely endodontists I saw years and years ago.
He needs
when
to
I
be
was
assassinated.
12 or 13. Yeah,
Can you imagine
big
putting
blob.
the greatest neurotoxin for any kind of animal on this planet is mercury, and he deposited up here a glob of mercury in her gums and bone.
Probably after root
How
canal.
stupid can you be?
Yep.
Let's hope.
Yep. So I had surgery done that was like 3 or 4, well actually that was 3 or 4 years ago. But anyways, I'm thinking I may have to pull out my front teeth and get a denture put in. My body is already rejecting this right front tooth quite loose. I don't know. I mean, do you think I should try to keep the teeth? And or if I do,
I would get that mercury out immediately.
Well, I had surgery. He said he took out like 98%, but I'm sure I still have stuff going on in here. So I think
I wouldn't do anything else other than get rid of the mercury. Unless that tooth falls out on its own, I wouldn't remove it.
So don't.
When after chemo and radiation, all of the bone, my body, when I had the cancers, all of the bone, my body ate all of my bone around my teeth. My teeth dangled in my gums. So if I bit down on my teeth, I bled a half a cup at a time. I was getting 2 to 3 transfusions a week. So I had to put my donuts and RC Cola in the blender and then drink it out of a big fat straw. That was my diet back then. But they wanted to remove all my teeth, and I thought, I'm going to suffer the last 3 months of my life with dental extractions. What are you, more insane than I thought? So I didn't let them do it, and then I started about 4 months later. This African-American boy that was 18 years old turned me on to raw carrot juice and raw milk. Within a year and a half, all of my bone restored.
So, Aajonus, you think no surgery?
I think you should get any mercury that you have implanted to make sure it's out. That's the only surgery I would do. No Novocaine, be put out.
Don't be put out.
Go under.
Be put out.
Put out.
Okay.
That's more desirable than Novocaine?
Absolutely, because that'll harden in the body and the face. Very hard to detox Novocaine.
So, Aajonus, to pull out more of the mercury.
And it goes right into the brain.
But the drugs you use to get put under don't harm you?
No, because they stay systemic. They stay flowing in the blood in the neurological system. They aren't injected into the tissue where they collect in patches, pockets.
So to pull out more of the mercury or the Novocaine that might be in my tissues, what would I do for food?
Don't do it. Just let your body do it on its own when it wants to.
And just do my regular, what I've been doing. And just, I have noticed when I've been eating the bone marrow, this tightens up a lot. It tightens up a whole lot. It's almost like I have a whole new sheet going on in there.
And what you can take is some of that bone marrow and just shove it up your gum.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
Does that work for receding gum lines?
Absolutely.
Do you think coconut cream
And you can heal your receding gums too by a mixture of a tablespoon of coconut cream, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of vinegar, and a teaspoon of clay, determined clay. Mix those together and brush your teeth with it. And I recommend that you use an infant's toothbrush. Very soft, very small. And you can work some of that up into your gums. That will clean all the plaque away, so you don't have to go have deep root cleansings. And it also removes the heavy mercury and other poisons that dump to the gums that cause the plaque. And you don't have to rinse your mouth unless the vinegar, but the vinegar isn't strong enough in that proportion to eat away into the dentine. When you're using raw unpasteurized vinegar that hasn't been aged in steel, in stainless steel, it has to be either Solana Gold or Bragg's raw unpasteurized apple cider vinegar that's aged in wood.
Does this have to be refrigerated because of the coconut?
I refrigerate.
Oh, you do?
It doesn't have to be, but I refrigerate it because the coconut cream loses, and so does the vinegar lose some of its potency.
So when you travel, you just...
I just take a little 1-ounce jar with me, and that lasts a week.
Okay, so that's it.
And it's It goes in with my food, so it doesn't go through radiation. And then as soon as I get to the hotel, it goes in the refrigerator.
In coconut cream, you mean fermented, not fermented?
Doesn't matter.
And when you're ingesting...
Just remember, always fermented. It's more cleansing.
Wait, so ingesting fermented coconut
is easier.
Just better vision, egg whites, suspect 1 or 2 a day of egg whites?
Depends. Some people do better with once a day. Some people do better with 2 times a day.
Because sometimes I put a lot in, my whole eyes get red, and they're red for like a couple days. Is that just detoxing, probably?
Well, it's like probably your veins are absorbing that protein that's digesting in the cornea. As long as your vision doesn't get worse day after using.
Like I noticed the next morning my vision was a little cloudy, but then it cleared up. And
did it get better or worse?
It seemed to get better.
Okay, so that's the way to do it. Yeah. Okay?
Egg whites. Raw egg whites. Show biotin or not?
Like I said, put it in my book. In a laboratory, it binds with the biotin. In the body, it makes carbon, a biocarbon. It gets rid of biocarbon. I've eaten up to 50 eggs a day, never had a biotin deficiency. So it's only in a laboratory and it's bullshit.
So it's a bunch of baloney.
It's absolutely. Egg is the most digestible fat and protein on this planet. You can digest an egg in 27 minutes. Milk, which is the next most quickly digesting nutrient, is 6 to 10 hours. 27 minutes for an egg. That's phenomenal. So your body is only using about 2 to 5 inches of your small intestine to absorb and digest all that protein and fat. So your body gets all of this rich nutrients without having to labor in digestion. Meat takes 19 hours to digest just to get down to the colon. Then the E. coli wants to hold it up there for another 7 to 8 hours.
Does the lecithin stay in your body to help you with all the other things that you need lecithin for?
Lecithin will be used to help emulsify fats.
So you don't need to eat the egg with the other product to keep... I forgot what it was that somebody told me that you need for... somebody was saying you need to have lecithin with something or other.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Okay? Absolute bullshit. Take a look at the woman with emphysema that I talk about in my recipe book. Emphysema for 7 years. Her MD said she was going to die that weekend. She'd been on machines for 2 years, bedridden for almost 2 years. And her MD called me and said, "What can I do?" And I said, "Well, you're calling me a little late, aren't you?" And she said, "Well, you know, in the medical profession, you cannot give alternatives until the medical therapies have failed for 10 years. It's only been 7 years for her, so she could lose her license by recommending another therapy, but she cared about her patient. So that's why she called me. That's when I found out it is a law that a MD can only give you medical therapy for 10 years. If it fails for 10 years, they can offer you alternative therapies. So you're doomed to medical waste for 10 years. Medical destruction. And they have the oath, do no harm. Whose bullshit is that? Not one of them lived by it. You know? Eggs. So this woman ate 33 eggs a day. And my recommendation, I said, get that woman 10 to 15 dozen eggs, put them on her bedside, and to eat as many eggs as she can. And as little time as she can. I got a call on Monday morning from this raspy voice woman who said, "It worked. What else do I do?" "Who are you?" And she said, "Well, my doctor called you and you recommended I eat as many eggs as I could. So I ate 33 on Saturday, 33 on Sunday. I'm off the machines. I'm out of bed. What else can I do?" Keep eating the eggs. Because her body can spend all the time cleansing and healing with those eggs. Because she's not spending all the time in digestion. She's already in a serious state when you have emphysema. So she needs to spend all of her time cleansing and healing, not digesting. So I had her eat that for about 6 months. Eggs and eggs and eggs. No biotin deficiency. She got well. It's absolute bullshit. It makes me angry. Because these people who talk about, Mercola, all of them, they learn this information in a book in a school, and they think it's knowledge. I don't put out anything unless I've experimented with it, and it really is true. It's true by experimentation. I worked with experiments. I spent over $1 million almost in laboratory experiments. I did not issue my book until 1997, and I started experimenting in 1969, 1970. So all of that time before I knew I had knowledge. We don't have any apprenticeships anymore. You go to school, you take a course in nutrition, and you're a nutritionist. And you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground.
No, you don't.
And yet you go around telling people what to do. And what do they teach you in these schools? Supplements. 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 It's the drug world. It's got nothing to do with nutrition. Nutrition is nutrition. It's nutrients for the body. Chemicals are not nutrients. It's not food. I don't care if it was derived from food. They either used a derivative of kerosene. Yes, kerosene is a natural product, but would you soak your food in it for 25 minutes before you eat it?
Yeah.
You die. And they treat everything that they make into a supplement with either wood alcohol. We're not talking about bourbon or any expensive alcohol. They use a chemical wood alcohol, grain alcohol, to make supplements or a kerosene derivative. Every supplement that's made, I don't care if it's from food. Now, the people who have these made have good intentions, but they go to a laboratory which says, we're the chemists. Oh, we can make that for you. They say, we'll make it totally naturally. Sure, kerosene's natural, but would you diet on it? Would you eat even a tablespoon a day? No. So you have to be a biochemist to know from start to end where your nutrients come from. Oh, it's natural. We go to what? We go to these laboratories, we'll go to General Foods and get their food waste products that have already been processed with chemicals and everything, and then use them for your natural nutrients from food, for your supplements. If you grew it in fields and took it to the laboratory, do you know how expensive your supplements would be? How much it would take to make a supplement? You couldn't afford $1,000 a bottle. And that's how much it would cost if you were truly to do it natural. It's impossible. You get it from your food. Vegetable juices or your vitamins, mineral, and enzyme supplement. Think about juicing all of this vegetables, and you're getting the blood of these vegetables. That is a concentrated nutrient, even if your soil is deficient. It is so much concentrated nutrients. These supplements are all chemical. There are poisons in there that are going to give you an adrenaline rush. Feel better, but are you better? No. You're not.
It's a fake way, right?
It's like taking cocaine. Yeah. You're going to get your high. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel really energetic. But is it healthy? No.
Bonnie has a question. She wants to know what causes osteoporosis.
Porosis. Your body eating its own minerals. You need to eat cheese with honey. Twice a day, 30 minutes after a meat meal. 1 to 2 tablespoons of cheese with a very small amount of honey. The honey and the cheese have to go together. To digest a dried food substance, you have to have honey or some other enzyme with it that will allow it to be digested. Cheese eaten without honey directly in it, like in cheesecake, it will be digested. But without honey directly in it, it acts as a magnet and a sponge for poisons, and it goes off and you discard it. You don't digest any cheese unless you have honey directly with that cheese. So most of the cheese you eat should be the sponge and the magnet to draw those poisons out of the body and take them out. 2 times a day, after 30 minutes after a meat meal, you have the cheese and the honey together. It's like, let's say you have 1.5 tablespoons of cheese, you'd have 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon of honey. A very small amount of honey to a greater amount of cheer. Okay? That's it, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, is there anybody here that wants to have the potluck in December at their place? No takers. Naughty, naughty, naughty. I guess we're not going to have a...
No, we have to have a potluck.
I guess we're not going to have a potluck in December.
No, we have to have a potluck in December.
Bonnie suggested it, but she's way out to nowhere. She's up by Mount Wilson.
You can have that. I'm not sure people want to hike that.
Yeah, that's
What about all those wild,
I'm in San
wild
Diego.
critters that you mentioned?
That's a little too far. I'm already having a potluck in San Diego on the 7th.
December 7th?
Yeah.
Okay.
December 7th?
In San Diego. But here, I wanted one around the 14th. Sunday the 14th. Any takers? Well, Nathan maybe, and Lucky probably.
How about you?
Up here again. I'm just going to be coming back from a long trip. So it's going to be... You won't be here.
Can I hit a different subject? Or you?
Uh-huh.
That guy that Aajonus was talking about with all the jump rope and his heart rate and so on, I'm going to interview this guy. I'm going to have an interview sometime this week with a camera. I'm going to try and get him jumping and, see his graphs and stuff like that. And, that's going to be probably released with Aajonus's DVD set from the workshop. We're not ready to deliver it yet, but it won't be...
Probably by October.
Yeah.
Mid-October.
Of this year.
Just so you guys know. No. Yeah.
Okay.
So Barbara will take care of it.
Okay.
Let me say one other thing. Barbara has teamed up with the Cancer Charity. She's written a really world-class poem in honor of Aajonus. She read it at the Cancer Charity, and as a joint venture with them, she made a bookmark of the poem. So if you want to grab the bookmark on your way out, you sell them $5 a piece.
Oh, yeah.
Can she read it?
Yeah.
You want her to read it?
Barbara, read it.
Can you come over here so people could probably hear you a little bit better?
And she's got a 2-minute slot next week at the Cancer Control Society. That's a pretty big meeting. And
Yeah, that is. That's a big convention, isn't
yeah,
it?
Yes.
big convention.
I've spoken there 4 times. I don't go there.
You don't.
It's all garbage.
It's all pharmaceutical, right? They don't want to hear you.
Yeah. It's all, soy substances and, fasting and coffee enemas and,
That's all.
it doesn't, I see
Yeah.
more cancer losses than I see reversals.
So when's the next potluck here in this area? That's December?
December 14th.
December 14th, we'll have the next one in L.A.
We just have to find a location. We'll put it on the website. Okay, sure. This is the bookmarker. There's just a few
Let me
left.
sit down and listen.
This is the poem. It's a sonnet, and it's dedicated to Aajonus, of course. Okay.
Should be dedicated to food.
It's dedicated to knowledge, too. Okay. Along with what my doctor said, I swallowed a wave of fear that swept and nearly drowned me. Then from the mighty undertow there followed a calm, uplifting faith that somehow found me. I summoned all my strength to help ensure I'd keep afloat, to breathe and not get battered. I looked around for help to find a cure and reassured those folks who really mattered. I've watched the progress of my life take form, and as the months roll by, I see I can rebuild the ship anew amidst the storm, because the faith I have is who I am. When friends and family ask me how I'm feeling and am I cured, I pause and say I'm healing. That's it. Thank you. The $5 each, part of the proceeds go to the charity for however many are left. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, everybody.